Dun 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 dun. Sonic. Done. What's up? Okay. Howdy. Have I seen what? Nope, I haven't seen anything. I am blind. How y'all doing? We're gonna open with an interview from Heem, which should be fun because I like talking about myself, and that'll be good. Oh, it's gonna be a relatively short stream. I think I might talk with Heem and then go over the Trump passport thing, and then just talk with chat for a little bit, then end stream. Um, we're gonna have a good time. Okay. Giving a call. Are we short stream? The last stream was 6 hours. Hello?
Hey, buddy.
Howdy.
Hey, can you see me okay?
I can. You're looking
Perfect.
wonderful
All right,
as
just give me
always.
1 second to readjust some stuff and then we'll do the whole thing. Okay. All right. All right, I wrote a whole spiel, so are you ready to do this?
Absolutely. Oh, and
All
of
right.
course it goes without saying, but I'm live right now. But yeah, absolutely. Hit us up.
And I'm on Twitch, so we're both live. All right, so hello everyone, and hello VGG. I hope you are having a wonderful evening. Before we get into speaking to my guest on tonight's episode of the Heem Interviews, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm Heem, and you can find me on twitch.tv/Heem, where I stream generally Monday to Friday from 5:30 to 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and occasionally in the evenings when I'm collaborating with streamers that have normal sleep schedules like Vosh. And you can also catch me on YouTube, where I'm pushing for 15,000 subs. You can catch my stream highlights, interviews, debates, and more. This is a project I've been wanting to put together for some time now, and that's basically to sit down with like interesting individuals and hear about their journey into their impressive careers in a laid back and chill manner. I feel like between Joe Rogan, Andrew Tate, the Flagrant podcast, Fresh and Fit, I think there's a void of like left leaning, normie appealing podcast. And so I'm trying to tap into that void a little bit. But enough about me. Let me introduce you to my guest this evening. Originally from Los Angeles, California, he's been making content on Twitch and YouTube since around 2019. His astronomical growth encouraged myself and many others to try their hand at streaming and content creation. He's best known for his debates against big-time right-wingers like Stefan Molyneux, Sargon of Akkad, Charlie Kirk, and more. And he's one of the most divisive figures in the online left today. Whether you love him, hate him, or just watch him for Bloodborne video gameplay, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, put your hands together for the one and only Vosh Vidya. How's it going, buddy?
Yeah, weighing in at 230 pounds, 6'2", on that corner. It's going good. How about you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Nice to thank you for sitting down and doing this with me. I feel like one of the hardest parts of content creation is getting people to organize a schedule, and kind of getting people to commit to stuff in a far in advance. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
we're all child brained, unfortunately, which does get in our way a little bit when it comes to scheduling. Anyway, it's good to be
Yeah.
talking.
You as well. So I was just actually listening to your religion debate that you had
Fun.
yesterday, I guess. I mean, I only caught like half of it, but I feel like I agree with you in general. I had a really spicy tweet once. I said, if anyone ever claims to have spoken to God, I don't think they should have a driver's license. And that was a really hot take.
Yeah, it's such a marginal thing too, especially rhetorically, because you're not really going to bring many people over. But it's, I don't know, it's just an underlying thing that I think a lot of people get really upset about. Obviously, religious beliefs are going to be pretty personally held.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of I gotta go back and listen to it a little bit more. I thought you were doing a good job, but I saw you got a lot of pushback. So I'm curious to maybe review it or something like
I
that.
don't know if there's any way to put that argument forward without getting pushback. No matter how you phrase it, I think that's just going to be a contentious one.
Fair enough. All right, let me ask you the first question. Let's kick it off. How did you come up with the name Vosh?
I scrambled for it. I didn't even think it was going to be the name that I stuck with, but it's a derivative of the name of an OC that I created for a comic that I wanted to do, that I never will do. But that's where it
Wait,
came
you're
from.
you're saying too many online things. I don't know what any of these things are. What is an OC?
I like drawing characters and then imagining them doing anime battles in my head to
Oh,
music, and
cool.
one such character was named Vakanida, and through an incredibly contrived series of in-universe sort of developments that turned into Vosh, because people would mispronounce her name, so might as well go with that. Also, Vakanite is not a great channel name. That's a bit of a mouthful.
That's interesting. So when you said when you just came up with that, I thought you did like a name generator thing or something like that.
No, though I might as well have for how much I scrambled for that name. You know, it may not have been AI driven, but it certainly functioned as though it was.
Fun fact: I feel like a lot of people maybe don't know this or knows. You know, Childish Gambino, the rapper. Are you
Yeah.
familiar with him at all?
No,
He
yeah, I know
came
Childish.
up with his name with with a rap name generator. So I thought maybe you took after him on that
That's
one.
great. Well, honestly, that's fine, you know? Um
Hell yeah, fuck it.
names, look, you create the meaning in your name, right? If its origins are humble, that only means there's that much further to climb.
Fair enough. True. If you didn't have a YouTube channel at this point, what do you think you would be doing?
Well, I got a degree in sociology with a minor in communication, so I'd probably be doing some work for an NGO or some kind of advocacy group. You know,
Did you
either
do any of that kind of work? Like, okay, so like, did you finish your undergrad before you started streaming?
yeah.
So did you, in preparation for graduation, obviously, like, I don't know, I'm in that phase right now where I'm getting ready to graduate, so I'm starting to think about like, okay, what am I going to do next? Did you do any of that kind of, I guess, did you volunteer or did you do anything like that?
Yeah, I
By
did
the way, your
volunteering.
camera is glitching a little bit. Can you maybe turn it off and back on?
Is it?
It's like skipping. Yeah.
Hmm. There we go.
Yeah,
My
let's try.
camera's had issues exporting video feed to some other applications lately. I think it was exacerbated by a Windows update. Hopefully it isn't too much of an issue.
I think it's okay now. So yeah, like I was saying, did you do anything in your undergrad in preparation for a future career with NGOs or anything?
Yeah, I did volunteering. I did a lot of stuff relating to local prisons, actually. Criminological sociology. That was what my baccalaureate thesis was on. I was one of the co-sponsors and managers of the a sort of um, prison vocational advocacy program and like prison outreach, both for adult and juvenile facilities in the county, that kind of stuff. I also was buddies with at least a couple people who did local NGO work, like on overdose, like drug epidemic type stuff. So I had a couple of threads that I might have followed after graduation.
So you would have been doing like, you know, I guess like dealing with actual people, or you think you would have been more on like the, I guess, big picture type kind of stuff,
Well,
or
you
whatever.
get what you I mean, you get what you get when it comes to this stuff. Sociology majors are not known for making huge bank right out of the gate, so I probably would have just taken whatever job I could have gotten. The best money that you can get generally with that work is statistical analysis, which you can
Hmm.
do at a whole bunch of organizations and also for the government. People tend to get paid pretty well for that, but it's also not very creatively fulfilling work.
Yeah, fuck. I'm on that in that phase right now where I'm thinking like, okay, I think there's so many job opportunities exactly for what you were saying, like statistical analysis, data analysis. So I feel like so many career or educational paths end up doing data analysis anyways. So
It's
it's funny.
pretty useful. It's pretty important for human civilization.
True. Um, I wanted to ask you, like, so this making content is, I think, our generation is really the first to venture out into doing this as a career. And I feel like for at least from where I come from, my parents were kind of like hesitant. Like, what do you mean YouTube? Like, what is this? Are your family like supportive? Were they always supportive of what you do?
No, they've always been supportive. Yeah. I think they've always had a pretty good attitude towards this sort of stuff. You know, they've been a good sport about it. They've been very encouraging. My dad's always been fairly politically engaged, and he does tech work at Hollywood, so he's been aware of the streaming industry as it developed. So I think they mostly just found it kind of an interesting novelty that I managed to put my foot in there.
Do you ever get into debates with your dad? What is he, a lefty, shit lib? What is he?
Nah, he's. I mean, I don't know if he's a socialist necessarily, but I don't think I would disagree with him on any like major ethical position. You know, like I think he's probably more socialist leaning than he is like liberal leaning.
Interesting. So I just wonder, like, if you're at a fucking family dinner and Vosh is sitting there, like, if do you have a conservative family at all?
Oh well, yeah. My most of my extended family's in like Florida and Alabama and stuff. So yeah, the range of political opinions definitely varies.
And do you get into it IRL with them? I can't help but do that, bro. I actually look forward to it almost. Like I can't wait until my fiance's uncle brings up Ben Shapiro and he says like facts don't care about your feelings. I can't wait till he says it almost.
No, no, I've never actually had a political argument with like any of my extended family.
Oh,
It
really?
just it doesn't seem like there's that much of a point. I mean, they're on the other side of the country. I don't think my extended family even knows what I do. Um, but they're on the other side of the country, and it's like you go over for a visit, and it feels like the only outcome of that would be to ruin a good vacation trip. Maybe if they lived closer, it wouldn't be so much of an issue. But they know that my family's more left leaning than the extended family, so it's probably just one of those like, you know, don't bring it up and everything will be fine type deals.
I know exactly what you mean. I feel like everyone always goes into it with like, all right, just don't bring it up and everything's gonna be okay. And then they can one person eventually cracks and can't help it, you know?
Yeah, hopefully not. You know, you gotta value your vacation time while you can. It's I've never gotten, you know, people have those big like family reunion arguments or whatever. I just assume, I mean, it seems like good decorum that you would just shut the fuck up when you're doing some kind of big family get together. Like if you can help it. I understand the stereotype is usually that it's like the uncle type who will like start talking about, I don't know, Black Lives Matter over the dinner table or whatever, but they should shut the fuck up. I mean, like have the food,
They
right?
should, yeah.
Yeah. Just enjoy the
One,
food.
one time we were we were like I lived with like we still live together, we're not married, and we have for like since the first year of our relationship, and you know we're like 9 years in now. And I remember one of the first times we went for like Thanksgiving or something, one of her more conservative like aunts, bro, they just start saying like, I would never let my daughter cohabitate before marriage, and they're literally just like fucking talking shit about us right to our face, and we're like, okay, I don't know how to like, are we supposed to
No,
engage?
yeah,
I
it's
don't.
such a stupid thing to do. I mean, who benefits from any of that? Like arguing with your family? Like nobody's mind's going to be changed. If you live with them and like you know them really well, I mean, maybe there's some leeway there, but that's not what's happening often here.
Mhm. And do you like at your level of I guess you can call it internet fame? I remember you said one time you were recognized out in public, but do you get recognized in public and stuff?
Yeah, decently often.
Is that is that like and are you okay, let me ask you, if I ran into you, should I ask you for a picture or are you an asshole? Just tell me straight up.
No, I love it when people approach me. It's great.
Oh, okay.
I've had like universally positive experiences with fans running up or whatever or asking me if I'm Vaush. It's always really really cute, you know. Because invariably they're always like, you know, nervous and they're like, "Oh, hey, are you really?" And it's just cute, you know. You take a picture with them, send them on their way. It's always been a positive experience.
Would you ever hook up with any of your fans? I have a very like strong position on this. I'm
Seems like a
wondering what your
recipe
take is.
for disaster most of the time.
Right?
If any fan who feels comfortable sexually propositioning the content creator they idolize is probably, you know, there's some like, you know, there are concerns there. It's just like, first of all, even like leaving aside the parasocial stuff, they have so much on you there, right? Like people talk about the power dynamic in your favor, but the fact is like the power dynamic actually works in both directions. You just have different types of guns. You have the weight of your community and your fame. They have the fact that like they were, at least in the context of your community and fandom, nobody, and now by lying or misrepresenting or really doing anything, they can like drastically shift public attention against you. Um, all it takes is like any errant, like, you know, irresponsible behavior from a fan that you fuck, to like escalate like way the fuck out of control. So that can be pretty dangerous. That being said, I have hooked up with people who I matched up with on Tinder who said that they were familiar with me. But that's not really them approaching me as a fan. It's just that it's the Seattle area. I mean, a lot of lefties here just know who I am. It can't be avoided past a point, you know?
Is that why you moved there? You're like, let me find the most lefty rich area.
Seattle's nice.
Doesn't it rain a lot though?
Not as much as I thought it would. In college, in Humble, it rained all the time, like constant drizzle. It was so annoying. It was
What is that in
overcast.
Seattle? I don't know what that is.
No, Humboldt's in Northern California.
Oh,
Seattle,
okay,
it
gotcha.
rains way less. Seattle just has real seasons, which I wasn't used to growing up in LA. During winter, you might get some snow. It'll be cold, you know, fall, you know, and you'll have like spring rain, but it's nice. I mean, it's like it feels consistent. It's not like constant gloomy weather like London or whatever.
Gotcha. I always thought it was like I guess you know what, Vancouver even I think has in the past like 10 years is less rainy than it used to be. That's why they're getting all these forest fires up there and stuff. Maybe climate change has something to do with your positive response to living in Seattle.
Well, California is 24/7 on fire, so that's a big part of it. We don't really get fires in Washington that much, as I understand it, because so much of the foliage here is just really resistant to wildfires. But all of LA is basically just a tinderbox, so, you know,
I always find it so weird like as
or
I don't know, I'm
California.
where I live forest fires are not common at all. And whenever I see like in California people are just driving by while the fucking half the forest is on fire. I always find it like very odd dynamic, I guess.
Yeah, I actually drove through a fire once in California. It was the
On
five.
both sides there was a fire?
Yeah, yeah, the five running up north.
Jesus.
Because the fires, I think this was back in like 2016 or 15 or something. But there was a wildfire that like reached LA. Now LA itself isn't going to catch on fire because it's all concrete and it's a huge city
Hmm.
with tons of firefighting, you know. But the hills around LA, if they're on fire, they're going to stay on fire. And the five cuts up north right next to the Getty Center and it goes to the valley with the mountains on either side. And yeah, we drove up through it, and there was just a blazing fire to my left and to my right. It was just like the gates of hell, and you pass
Holy.
through it, and then you just keep going because the freeway is fine, you know.
Bro, but and there was there no traffic, I'm guessing, because if that would be so fucking scary to get caught in traffic.
No, no, thankfully, no. I wonder about that. If there was an accident and the cars got backed up there and people just had to wait on the five for like 30 minutes while the fires were right now. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder how they would have dealt with that. That would have been pretty bad.
Yeah, it's interesting. So so you like living in Seattle? Is and do you think that it's like I hear a lot of stuff about people saying that there's like anarchy over there or whatever, Seattle, Portland area. What's day to day like? Is it okay over there?
It's fine. Portland,
Reporting live from Seattle,
reporting
Vosh.
live from Seattle, half the city's on fire. No, Portland is the area that had all the Antifa, BLM protest, courthouse firebombing, whatever. Seattle had Chaz, the
Mm.
Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, which is the gay area, you know, which where all the gays are. It's just a part of a park. I mean, I've walked by that area many times, though I didn't go there while Chaz was open. Thank God.
Is it still going or it's done now?
Nah, nah, they shut it down ages ago. They
Mm.
the cops just walked in. Because there was like nothing to it there, right? The community there is really nice. Capitol Hill's pretty cool. There's a lot of cool stuff to do there. My favorite bar that I've ever been to is there, Unicorn. Um, but yeah,
Of course,
Chaz
your
not so
favorite
much.
bar is called Unicorn.
They have a drink called horse jizz. That's not a joke. No, really. It's great. Some people in your chat maybe have been there. Some people in my chat I think have been there. It's pretty well known. It's pretty gay. Pretty gay.
They need to get a Vosh drink, please. Like, yo, can we? You want to make an appeal right now? Like, what kind of drink do you like? Like, if you had a Vosh drink, what would be the base alcohol in it or
So I
something like
fucking
that?
love. So first of all, just give me a goddamn fruity cocktail. That's what I want. Just give me. One of their drinks is it's vodka with cherry coke and like citrus, like lemon juice or lemonade or whatever. That shit's all I want. I just want some fruity goddamn citrusy
All
um
right, listen. Here's what I think we should do.
vodka.
Chat should clip this and send it over to the unicorn and say we need a Vosh drink on the menu here. Like, what is this?
I'll try to throw my weight around or throw my
Uh,
weight around. We'll see.
All right. Um. All right. Listen, I wanted to ask you, like, as a scary, like, this is a scary part of content creation. That's like I think everyone would agree is the instability of it. When you're a channel that's of my size, I've had some months where I've made enough money to pay my bills just through streaming, and I've had other months where I made like $300. If your channel stopped growing today and you just had same views you had this month, continued into eternity or for the rest of your career, would you be okay with that, or what
Well,
is your take?
I wouldn't be happy with it, but it would certainly be enough for me to live
Sustain
comfortably
you.
on.
Oh,
It
okay,
would
yeah.
certainly sustain me. Yeah. I mean, obviously I'd always like to grow as much as possible, but um no, that would still be perfectly acceptable. Yeah, it's an incredibly tumultuous industry that can definitely be cause for concern. I guess that's always how it's been for any kind of self-employment, right? If you own a business or if you're some kind of traveling merchant, back in the day, uh
Uber driver.
yeah, literally like anything. I think that's been the norm for most of human history. It's a constant sense of anxiety over whether or not, the circumstances will be favorable to you and you'll be able to make ends meet that month. Unfortunately.
Do you do you ever like struggle with, this is something I've personally struggled with, like making content that you want to make versus making content that you think will bang in the algorithm?
Yeah. It's really frustrating because the I don't So the thing, so okay, there are the things that I want to do, the things that I ought to do, and the things that would make me the most money. The things that I want to do are whatever the fuck I want at any given point in time. There's no consistency there. Sometimes I want to do debates, sometimes I want to talk politics, sometimes I want to ramble about video games, whatever. The thing I ought to talk about is politics and news. I want that
Mhm.
information delivered. Like I feel morally like I should be getting that out there. And the thing that gets the most money and views is usually like debates or like react to Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, Trump, blah blah blah, like that kind of deal. So the best thing that you can do, I think, is do the things that you like as much as you can get away with, and make sure you always have like an underlying stable foundation of highly monetizable content where you manage to fit in like the good responsible stuff. So like reacting to Ben Shapiro, reacting to TikToks of 16-year-old AFAB NBs playing the ukulele. But while you're in there getting that, highly monetizable material, pause every once in a while and talk about, I don't know, income tax brackets, deliver the information. It's just about how you package it. That's what I try to do.
So, it's I sometimes I'll put out something that I'm like, okay, this is like, have you ever had it where you were like, okay, this one's gonna bang, but then that doesn't do well, and then you're like, okay, now I don't know what the hell's going on. Like, that a video game video might not do as well, but do you ever have ones where you're like, okay, this debate is gonna do well and it doesn't?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not there's no like reliable predicting the algorithm.
Yeah.
And that's okay, That's why I've always preferred this sort of shotgun mentality. Just put out a lot of stuff. Live stream, monetize as much as you can. Don't worry too much about any one video being some kind of like perfect, well-researched thing. And you'll tend to do okay.
Um, Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that takes such a, I don't know, and this is what I'm going to pose to you. How do you think you handle that from a mental health point of view? I feel like that is such a, like, I've been doing this like part-time while doing my research. I've been doing this for over 2 years now, and I feel like that it takes a grind on you mentally in terms of having to constantly be pumping out and so on and so forth.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's kind of like a self-perpetuating machine, because even if you're at a position where you can be comfortable, which I am, there's still that kind of like guilty feeling that you're not so there's a couple of things that go into it. For one, like riding on the coattails of your algorithmic success, at least for me, feels like kind of lazy, because it's like, there are other people who are putting out like one or two videos every day. And if I think like, oh, I don't have to stream this week, that's true. I don't have to. But I feel like, you shouldn't get complacent just because you're in a fairly stable position. And then there's also like the feeling, this could all fall down one day. Every day that I stream or make videos now will count towards what I'm able to do if everything falls apart, which isn't irrational. It's just non-falsifiable. Um, so there's no real way out of that logically. You just have to kind of learn to be calm, and that's all you can really do.
Yeah, I think that one was what's the longest vacation that you've ever taken?
I think it was after I got the keloids on my left ear removed. I think that was basically a 1.5 week vacation. Though I would still record some stuff offline, for the editors to play with. Um, I think that was the longest time I've ever been on vacation. I can't recall a time that's been longer than that.
Hmm, interesting. Um, yeah, I guess like that stamina is beast mode, I guess.
No, I mean
Um,
it's an easy job to do in some respects. In some respects, this is a very difficult thing to do. But in terms of like longevity or whatever, I mean, I enjoy the work that I do enough that I don't really like feel a need for a vacation. Usually, when I take a day off of streaming, by the end of the day, I'm thinking like, I probably should have streamed. That would have been fun, Like I would have enjoyed that if I had streamed. Which is good. It means that I like what I do.
okay, let me ask you. I'm curious. If you wanted to retire now, could you?
If I wanted to, like, retire
Yeah.
forever, no, I don't have enough. I don't have that much saved up. Not even
All
close.
right.
No. That would take it's quite a lot. I also don't
You need a
hoard
few more
all.
years.
I don't hoard all my income. I tend to be pretty liberal when it comes to spreading it around with my friends or donating it, and I pay my editors very well. So I don't,
With exposure?
with exposure, yes, I give them lots of
That's how
shout
I pay
outs.
my editors too.
Give them the blue name in chat. It costs a lot, the site code to make that name blue. Yeah, so I'm not really in like full on saving mode. Maybe I should be. Maybe I should like streamline a bit and just like hoard a bank account amount so that if things go poorly in the future, I'm not like permafucked. But I don't know. I'll do that eventually, maybe.
Interesting. Um, Interesting. All right, let's go on to the next thing. So before the pandemic, I was very pro independent media, but seeing the rise of the anti-vax movement made me really reconsider. I think I'm now at a place where I think independent media is probably a net negative and rife with misinformation. What do you think about independent media in general?
Fuck, I genuinely don't know. I feel like independent media is just going to produce a more extreme set of tendencies that you can see in mainstream media. If there's a general disposition towards misinformation, I think it's just going to be like an exacerbation of that. Because it's not as though like Fox News isn't 24/7 lying about whatever they can get away with. And then you have like Newsmax and OAN and stuff, which depending on your definition of mainstream, like there's kind of a blurring there. I mean, a lot of money does go into those projects. Daily Wire, for example, has to be considered a mainstream news outlet. They literally have an operating budget of hundreds of millions of dollars.
Mhm.
So there's no way in the world that's like independent media. That's full on like mainstream stuff right there. So I don't really know. There's also a lot of good that comes out of independent
Oh,
media.
for sure. Yeah, and you know what's funny? Like it's funny that we are independent media, and I'm saying that independent media is bad, but obviously I think I'm good. Like so, everyone thinks probably that they're the exception.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, well, everyone would, right? And I don't necessarily think that's wrong. There's so much variance within independent media. I guess I don't really know. I think I'll say this. It's possible that in the rise of independent media has been a net negative, but I feel like it would be whatever the political actions necessary to suppress independent media would be, I think that would be worse. whatever effort you'd
Um,
have to take to crush like using the internet and using like all that independent like free source media stuff, um that would lead to worse political consequences than what is produced through the existence of independent media.
I always say if I was Twitch, I would just ban outright like all political streams. Like I don't want to deal with that shit. It's too risky. People say crazy shit on here. Like so yeah, I don't know. I guess but then you'll get normies that they'll sprinkle in the political discussions.
Yeah, it'd
So
be really hard to draw that line too. Like what happens during like the presidential primaries or something? Like if a streamer is just like yeah, well this guy did this thing or a new president comes in,
and ban
politics is
permaban ban
everywhere. Yeah.
permaban.
Instantly get him
um,
out of here.
yeah, eat them, bro. Interesting. So I think a lot of people were saying that they wanted me to ask this of you. That your content has shifted a little bit in the past year or so. Can you like elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, it's harder to get good debates. I think the main issue is that I've decided a lot of conversations are genuinely not worth having. In the sense that like no information can be derived from them and no benefit like in a business sense can be derived from them outside of whatever promotional work I'm doing on their behalf so they can do their like performance art on my stream. I've also been trying to avoid drama more, mostly because it gets boring and it's really circular. I'll still cover stuff when it happens, but I think it's important to focus more on like positive, affirmative stuff, like the canvassing efforts that are going on right now. That seems like a better thing
Well,
to define the community around.
for sure. I'm gonna ask about the canvassing in a little bit, so we'll circle back to that. But I guess like I kind of agree with you in a way in that sometimes I feel like when you debate like ultra right wingers, which is fun, I like to do it just as much as you or anyone else does. When you're talking to them, I don't know, I get a sense that like, bro, you're not even listening or trying to understand what I'm saying. And then it ends up just being like, especially for someone like you, it's like you're just using me to amplify your voice
Yeah,
or
this is
whatever the case may be.
the biggest example of this right now are the pro-Russia in the war guys. Like people who will want to, like I've gotten so many emails like this. Like they want to come on stream and I know what they're going to say when they get here because like they tell me in the email like actually they think that Ukraine invaded Russia or there is no invasion. It's a police
Hmm.
action to defend. And these positions are so untenable that the only way you can sincerely believe them is through mental illness or just empirically wrong beliefs that you refuse to correct. There's no reason to like it sincerely is like somebody coming on to argue um about like Holocaust denialism. The difference being that Holocaust deniers like try to stumble to produce arguments, but in my experience, the pro like Russia types don't. Like I've talked to Holocaust deniers. It's fun to pick through their evidence, you know. Look at this door. It's made out of wood. Look at this pool. It's a swimming pool. It's if they must have been swimming. Not bad, you know. Cyclone B isn't even harmful, you know. Like it's fun to pick through those conspiracy theories because they feel like they have an effort to try. But some people will just fold their arms and be like, yeah, actually, all of Ukraine is Nazis, and they invaded Russia, and Russia's defending itself. Why do you think that? What? Because that's what it is, and that's it. It's like, okay, then why the fuck am I talking to you? Like, go
Yeah.
build your own clout.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like there's the incentive to do it because if you clown on them, you're gonna get bangers. Like
But you can only clown on people who are participating. If a person's just folding their arms and saying really stupid, obviously incorrect stuff with no like explanation or justification, and they don't seem flustered at all, they're just confidently saying things that are obviously incorrect, you can't clown on them.
Mhm.
It's impossible to clown on them because they have no commitment to the things they're saying. They're doing it purely to play with words, like a fascist does. They're doing it. They don't have any attachment to the truth value of their statements. So because they don't care, they can't really be owned, and therefore there's not really much entertainment value to engaging with them.
Do you feel the same way about red pill types?
No, they believe every word they're saying. Those people are very fun to debate. They're like sweating as they're rolling through their flashcards, trying to remember like every talking point they have on what
Flashcards.
women are like. They care a lot about what they're saying, which means that if they get shown up on something, they actually do get flustered because they're not just here as part of like performance art that they're doing for the sake of clout and monetary gain.
Interesting.
That's way
So
more fun.
Do you think that, and so one, this is one thing I've noticed, and like this interview series that I'm doing now, I've had Loner Box on. I had this normie streamer called Jojo the Mofo, who's like one of the fastest growing streamers on Twitch on,
Mhm.
and now you. And I think that they're very interesting. We're getting to know each other and stuff. But I built my audience, tangentially to your audience and to Destiny's audience. I built my audience off of debates. So now that like you and I are having a not so contentious talk, the incentive to watch it isn't there because they're like been kind of like conditioned to only watch like contentious, like destroyed fucking or whatever. Do you feel like you've kind of that's what you're going through as well?
Yeah, well, your audience is conditioned to some types of interactions that they're going to value over others. I think for the most part, when people enjoy seeing debates, it's not necessarily the debate itself, it's the energy that tends to come with debates. It's the direct confrontation, it's the zest, it's the zeal, the enthusiasm. I think they're looking for like a collection of attributes more so than the debate specifically, which I think you can hit on in a wide variety of content. But you have to remember, and this is critical for everyone, content creators and viewers. You should never start to value debates just because you've grown addicted to the feeling of intellectual superiority over others. That's a very dangerous road to go down. It's the same direction the skeptics and the new atheists did. If the only thing you're after is this satiation, this like the sense that you've intellectually overpowered your opponent, you're no longer pursuing anything under like an ethical framework. You're not really trying to achieve anything than a personal emotional state, and that can lead you down some really weird roads where you're no longer like trying to uh make an issue more clear or arrive at the truth. You're just trying to use whatever tools you have to get that feeling. It's like a high. So you don't want that to be
Mm.
your motivator. Um,
Do you want to call me any slurs or anything like that so we can get a lot of views on this video?
Nah, you're on Twitch. I
I'm
wouldn't want to do
Persian.
that to your channel.
Oh,
But
okay.
you know I would. You know I would. Yeah. You
Thank
know I'm
you.
here
I
for it.
appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna say so. Then the title's gonna be Vosh says he would call me a slur in private, maybe
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something like that.
There we go.
All right.
That's good.
Bless. 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 Um. So interesting. So this fortress arc, are you gonna, is it because you're like what, you can't get bigger names? Like I think when it's good when you debate Charlie Kirk and stuff. I'd even think that like getting you know what I think would be a good idea, doing a podcast or something like you and I are doing right now, but with a right leaning big figure where you literally just week after week bounce ideas off of each other on like the main topics of debate or whatever.
No, no. I've gotten a number of opportunities. There are just a couple of issues that are popping up sort of adjacent. Um, I liked the Charlie Kirk convo a lot. The first one is that I think in a lot of the right wing conversations and debates that are being held right now are being done at places like MythCon, like these like debate in person conferences.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have no interest in going to these because these are conservative run conferences. They have the media, they have the apparatuses, they choose the guests. Everything is being done for their benefit, you know. I like the debates, but if somebody wants to
Why does
debate
that
me,
matter? Just out of curiosity.
because it's their platform, it's their structure. They construct it and maintain it because it serves their political interests. For every bit of content I could get from going to one of those, 1,000 times as much content could be produced from their side, from their interactions with me. And it wouldn't even matter who wins because conservatives have never, ever, ever cared who actually came out on top when it comes to assessing the performance shown in a debate. I don't like giving like attention or weight. If we want like to do debate cons or whatever, we can build a lefty one. Or if you want to talk to me, they can email me. I'm happy to bring people on. Um, I also did get an opportunity to go back down and see Charlie Kirk, but I had to cancel that because I'm really concerned about COVID at the moment. I have costochondritis, which is inflammation of the interior chest lining, the one that like where the diaphragm is, that kind of thing. And having a coughing fit caused by COVID could potentially be like actually kind of dangerous for me. So I'm seeing a doctor literally tomorrow. I'm hoping to fix that, and then maybe I'll feel a bit more comfortable about general travel.
Yeah, that COVID shit, bro, got my dad, man. My dad passed away and he was like 55 years old. Same thing. He got terrible lung, started coughing like crazy, and it was just fucking wackest thing in the world. That's kind of
Jesus.
why I guess the whole misinformation thing even hurts me even more, you know.
I'm really sorry to hear
Um,
that, man.
yeah, it's sad, but you know, a lot of other people lost tons of people too. So,
It's still
um,
pretty sad, you know.
for sure.
It's not a bargain discount. It's the sadness is maintained no matter the volume. Yeah, so but no, I'm not opposed to these debates or whatever. It's just I when people only want to do their debates in-person conferences, you know, it just especially when
Oh,
it's like
didn't Tim Pool keep telling you? Was it Tim Pool who kept saying come do an IRL debate or something
well,
like
that's the
that?
thing. It's go to Tim Pool's place, go to Charlie Kirk's place, go to this conservative
Bro,
conference.
listen. All
Why are
right,
all
Vosh,
these
listen. Come
in-person
to
events conservative?
come to Toronto. All right, come over to my house and I'll debate you on capitalism versus
Why
socialism
can't I stay in
IRL.
my house? What's wrong with staying in your house? I like my
Nope,
house. I hate
nope,
traveling.
IRL. Nope, sorry, you're not allowed.
Yeah, well, my agoraphobia might play a role here as well. Yeah, I don't know. It's but you know what I mean, right? Like it's always conservative outlets. Like
Yeah, I
there's
think
no
they have the
lefty.
like funding, you know, to organize it, I guess.
And they only do it because it benefits them. Like because there's no other reason they would do it. Most of these people are grifters. Their beliefs shift with whatever they think would make them the most money. So the fact that they continue to do that indicates to me that whatever analysis they have, because I don't have access to all the numbers. How many views do they get? How much money do they get? What are the back end donors doing? You know, what are their assessments of the situation? If they think it's worth doing, it's probably
There's got to be a
politically
price though,
beneficial.
right? There's definitely a price to draw you in.
I've never accepted money for a debate
Actually,
appearance. Yeah, I've turned it down even to stuff that I actually did attend. I one time got a $500
why?
check as a speaker at a some group event, and I still have that uncashed in one of these three drawers. I don't know which one.
Why though?
Um, I guess it's not a strong ethical aversion, but I have I'm so uh uncomfortable with the idea that I might compromise on something that I think is right or wrong on a speaking fee. Like if I don't want to go to an event because I think that it's just like conservative laundering, you know, like attention laundering or whatever. I don't want to feel like
You're
that's a
whoring yourself out.
I don't want to feel like that's a conviction that has like a sales like price tag next to it. If they offered me $1 million, would I go to a con? Yeah, of course I would, obviously. But it's just something I tend to be averse to.
So you're saying that I should request a refund from my Vosh.gg donate to get you on stream today? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's I saw that and I actually considered not showing up at all.
It wasn't
just
an,
a hair
it was
point
just
for me.
towing the line of being enough, huh?
Yeah, exactly. It's like campaign fundraising, you know, you really want to be careful when the IRS looks over all of your you know, all of your fundraising sources.
True. All right, listen, Vosh. You and I are different, all right, in a little bit. And that's mainly that you consider yourself a socialist, I consider myself a SOCDEM. But sometimes I feel like leftists and libs are too busy infighting, while conservatives form a strong coalition of bigotry. Lately, though, my viewers have been pushing me to start identifying as a leftist, but I still call myself a SOCDEM. Do you think the leftist or lib distinction is a useful one? And what is the utility if you and I agree on 90% of things?
Well, I do think it's very useful, and it's often because whether or not you believe the system can be reformed to an ideal state or that it needs to be torn apart altogether will inform the energy and vigor with which you try to change it. I'm not that invested in like liberal infighting right now because you're right. The big issue right now is the whole tidal wave of fascism incoming. But my arguments with liberals over the past few months have mostly been over, in my opinion, them being way too light on the fascists, you know? Like them believing in institutional solutions, them not believing it's necessary to buy guns or to arm yourself or to, you know, engage in community preparedness. So most of my arguments here seem to be more like they don't think it'll be necessary or effective, even if we both agree the fascism is bad. So, you know, there's variance in how people think problems should be solved that I think is worth addressing.
I mean, listen, I'm Canadian, so I hate fucking guns. So we could have. Let me ask you a question. If you could start a society from scratch with no geopolitical ties, with no historical genociding of indigenous people, you find a new piece of let's say
That's nice.
Mars, whatever. Would you want to still have the population armed, or do you think it's best to not have no arms?
No, my advocacy for firearms is based on America the way it is today. I don't advocate for like mass firearm proliferation in Canada or England or whatever else. Because there's the whole like armaments of the proletariat type deal, but that's not really what's happening anymore when I say people should arm themselves. It's more about intra-militia violence. But the existence of those militias is predicated on the availability of guns anyway. So if you could just swipe all those problems aside, that would probably be preferable, especially since fascist groups are the most disproportionately likely to own and learn how to use firearms.
I
Because
mean, I don't disagree with it. It's more of a right wing activity, I guess you could say.
yeah, it's weighted against us. But as long as I live in a country where there are so many guns, I would rather it not only be the conservatives who have them. But yeah, if I could snap my fingers and get rid of the whole problem, yeah, I think a gun-free society would be pretty nice.
So you think that like it would because then in a gun-free society, do you think that the police should still have guns, I guess?
I
Because
mean,
this is my ideal society that like I'm okay with the state having the monopoly on violence to maintain order and so on.
if we lived in a society where the citizenry could be expected to not have guns, I don't think the police should have them either. I mean, the ideal police would have like taser, pepper spray, right? Like maybe a baton. I don't know. Depending on how far along you are to the glorious anarcho-syndicalist future, whatever. Obviously, the police should be able to enact a certain degree of violence in order to bring in criminals or deter violence
Yeah,
themselves.
exactly.
That's necessary, but I mean, imagine a world where nobody felt cops had to have guns. I mean, that must be a pretty nice world to live in, right?
For sure, yeah, of course. As a minority in North America, no
Yeah.
one gets more scared of police than me. But yeah, and then the other thing I wanted to ask you about this, the gun thing was, do you think that this is another take I have? Maybe we'll have a little bit of disagreement here. I think that if you have a protest, right now the situation is there's protests going on, right? I think this is the reason that you're advocating for this. Protests are going on. On one side, you have right-wing militias that are all strapped. On the other side, you have SJW soy latte holding people that don't have any guns, and you're saying that they should arm up. Is that am I getting it correct so far?
Not at the protests. You don't want to bring guns to protest unless everyone in that protest is armed and knows what they're doing and are organized in a central group. But you shouldn't bring them to protests. All that does is turn the cops against you.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Is like I think it's better to have one side armed and one side not armed, even because like at least their dynamic is very straightforward, and you're not gonna get any confusion and stuff.
Yeah, for me, the goal of gun ownership is about resisting militia occupation. So back during Black Lives
Well,
Matter, right? There were a couple times where you'd have like a patriot prayer, like MAGA caravans, like guys on pickup trucks with guns, If things ever really go to shit in this country, and I think they will, and that's a whole separate thing, but if you believe that might one day happen, you'll get proper civil unrest. It's a near guarantee that those militias are going to try to exercise control over areas. In Portland, for example, the problems in that city is that Portland itself is very left-leaning, but all of the like Oregon countryside is super conservative. So they drive in from their suburbs and rural area, and they're like, "Yeah, we're going to take this city now, the capital, of our state." I think Portland's the capital of Oregon, but the big city of our state. And my idea there is that it is effectively impossible. Salem is, sorry. It is effectively impossible to occupy a neighborhood as a militia if the neighborhood has apartment high rises with guns poking out of them. It's just not possible. You need proper military equipment to clear out a city block with when people in that city block have guns trained on you from their windows 12 stories up. It's a very defensive position. So that's my idea. Just it's about preparedness, defensive coordination in case things get bad.
do you think in some way it's like you're like a prepper almost?
Oh,
Because
100%.
like
Yeah.
because I don't see this coming anytime soon, I guess.
Huh? It is absolutely a prepper mentality. Though most preppers are like paranoid ANCAPs who want to, supply themselves with 3 years of beans in case the government tries to take their guns or whatever. In my case, this is about like potentially resisting a tide of fascism. So it's more of a communal and I think more of a humanitarian belief on my end. Not individual safety, but communal preparedness.
Interesting. I guess in this situation when with the listen, I think if I moved to the States, I would probably fucking get a gun too, just because like I'd be too scared not to have one.
Hell yeah.
Um, but in this situation where you're saying like the rural, and listen, rurals being conservative is very common in every state probably, and even in Canada it's the same thing. It would the police or the National Guard or whatever, they would not be around, or I'm confused what their role would be.
I don't want to pretend that I could even make a educated guess because there are so many like forces and factors involved, right? The idea, as I understand it, my general idea is that either because the Republicans attempt a coup again in 2024, which they fucking will, I don't know how it'll turn out, but they will attempt it, or like climate change leading to climate change refugees, battering down the hatches, some kind of inciting event, you'll have like a balkanizing issue where red and blue states, where the federal government shuts down and red and blue states are like fending for themselves. And depending on what actions are taken at a federal level, this might resolve very, very violently. As for where any individual group would go, I don't really know, but
Hmm.
police departments tend to be pretty right wing. I think something like 80% of cops voted Trump in 2016. That's a lot. And those are the people who have the authority over violence first. They're the ones with the jurisdiction first. So if they end up being kind of, politically partisan, it's like, well, does the state bring in the National Guard to fight against cops or like the state guard, or is the state guard going to comply? What if it's a red state? So much stuff can happen. I couldn't even begin to predict. I just think it's important to be ready.
You know why I don't think any of this was gonna happen? Because everyone still loves Netflix and HBO too much.
Wait,
They're
people
too
hate
busy.
Netflix and HBO right now. HBO fired all their a bunch of their employees, and Netflix had their shares plummet. That's it. The revolution's coming, my friend.
Yeah. All right. Listen, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're right. You are
A
right.
year
They
ago,
have
you would
been.
have been right, but now the lines have gone down. It's all over. It's time.
Fair enough. I thought people were watching Love Island and shit. I don't know.
I did watch some Love Island. That shit gets spicy. They do not wear much clothing on that show.
Dude, I watched one, and now every time I go on my HBO app, it's just like naked bodies on the thumbnails.
Yeah, what we
Like,
just
fuck it up.
I just want porn that has like a reality TV show level budgeting and funding. Because if Love Island, if they could actually fuck, like that would just make the show better. It's already trash reality TV. Like, why not go that extra mile?
They just gotta, they like to leave it to your imagination, so you tune in next week.
Yeah, fuck that. Fucking cock tease shit like sitcoms doing the will they, won't they for 6 years. Absolutely not.
I
Just
feel like the only reason that wouldn't work in porn is because they wouldn't have enough of a prize money. Like, what are they gonna give? $500 to the person who lasts this entire month before they get kicked off and shit.
maybe the hottest fuck of the season can like the two people or three or however many people who participated can split like a sponsor deal with Pornhub or something. You can have like
Based,
yeah, because it'd be big production, right? Like they could be like, yeah, well you suck dick great. Do you want like a job? I think it'd be cool.
based. Okay, all right. You might be onto something here. Um, so we started off. We this. I don't know how we derailed it. We were talking about the revolution, and now we're talking about
They're connected.
porn prize money there. Uh, Interesting. So a lot of people have said that. And listen, I've been defending you on this. But a lot of people are saying that your rhetoric is enabling stochastic T word. I don't want to say it. What do you say to those people?
I think by that definition, almost any political speech could be counted to that. Because, so at the end of the day, if you're making strong ethical statements about the nature of the world we live in, that's always something that can motivate people to violence no matter what. We all have to own that, right? Like, if you say, wow, cops sure have a problem with systemic racism in this country, there are going to be people who hear that and go, you're right, they do. And then they, like, fucking rack the magazine, you know? It's always possible. The degree of culpability, I think, varies, and also the degree of legitimacy. So, for example, if a person like in Nazi Germany back in like 1932 or something was saying, yeah, they're gonna do a Holocaust, they're gonna kill all the Jews, like it's gonna be super fucking bad, like anything you could do to stop them from this point is justified. That would be absolutely an advocacy for stochastic terrorism, but it would also be something in retrospect we would justify because, I mean, obviously, like if you could stop the Holocaust, then oh my God, yeah. If you have to murk a couple of Nazi officials like beforehand, you know. So there's like multiple lines of legitimacy here. I think as long as what you're saying is valid and justifiable and proportional, it's okay. And in my case, I genuinely think that we're looking down the barrel of some serious social instability. So, given that, I think that my advice is well proportioned to that. Gun safety, exercise your legal right to own firearms, get to know your neighbors, you know. I think all that's like really straightforward advice. If somebody like takes that and goes like, "All right, now have to go be like RoboCop against the government." It's not impossible, but I don't think it's a product of the irresponsibility of what I say, you know?
Yeah, I think listen, I more or less I think agree with you in the broader sense. I use the same example of 1932 as well to say like, you know, even if it was in 1932, if you ask someone, "Hey, do you think a genocide is likely?" They would probably say it's very unlikely to happen. But that would still, you know, someone might be raising alarm bells about that, and to me, it kind of makes sense.
It's
But
always going to be an unreliable enough. Like, imagine if the likelihood of a genocide happening in a country was always never higher than 2%. Like, no matter what historical circumstances take place, it's always mostly the case that it doesn't happen. But it can still happen, right? Like, even if the odds are low,
yeah, you
eventually.
hope you're wrong.
Yeah, so it's always going to be like, oh, well, I don't think it's going to happen. Well, okay, I'll settle when the odds are 0%, you know? And I feel
Mm,
like we're well above 2% right now personally. I'm just saying like it's never a guarantee, you know. You do your best to prepare for the worst and that's all you can do.
interesting. So okay, let's say hypothetical situation because listen, I've been having debates with people who I've had to defend you on this. So I'm curious to hear your own positions on it, okay? So my position was, yeah, I think that sometimes you're a bit radical, especially compared to me, a shit lib, maybe you can call me, or a sock them or whatever. So you're definitely more radical than me. But I think that like left wing radicalism, though might have its own issues, violence doesn't seem to be one of the, I guess, features of it, at least not yet, compared to right wing radicalism. So I'm wondering, do you think that if in a hypothetical world, God forbid, okay, this ever happens, but if something happens, national news, they look through the guy's YouTube subscriptions and they see most watched videos was Vosh's. Do you think that you would like reconsider? Because people are genuinely saying your rhetoric it might lead to that. And I'm saying I don't think any Vosh viewer even leaves their home, let alone
That is
go up
true.
and do some shit.
Well, I mean, speaking practically, it would really depend on the circumstances. So, on one hand, you have to assess to what extent, and you can do this for any like mass serial killer or whatever, you know, to what extent is there actually a relationship between what they've done and some of the stuff they listen to? For example, there was it a shooting at a baseball game? I think he killed 4 people a little while back, where he had
Bernie
like
fan, right?
yeah, he was a Bernie fan, but it doesn't seem like the reason he shot people was because of that. It doesn't seem like there was a direct connection. There can be various reasons why people do this after all. Unfortunately. I mean, hopefully there wouldn't be any. And also I guess I would have to wonder like what the motives of the shooter was. If it was some kind of like indiscriminate killing or whatever, that would be horrible. I don't know if I want to do like a results-based analysis. Maybe like some unfathomably unlikely event has occurred, and I don't know if that necessarily reflects on my content, but maybe there is a reflection there, and I might have to consider that. If the violence has kind of like an understandable political through line to it, like some kind of
Careful, because that's the same shit Lauren Southern would say, right?
well, but that's the thing. I'm not opposed to political violence as a concept. It's about why it's being directed and for what reasons. The problem with Lauren Southern is that Lauren Southern's issue is with I don't know.
People that
And
look like me.
yeah, people who look like you. Yeah, like it's conspiracy and bullshit, whatever. But obviously, like violence is the only reason the nation state can exist. Police exercise it. They enforce laws created by politicians for political reasons. Political violence is just the way the world works. And if you agree that Jewish insurgents in Nazi Germany could have been making legitimate like targets out of Nazi officials back then, you have to agree at least to the broader idea that political violence is just a tool, and we have to make moral judgments about how well it's being used. I certainly don't have an issue with Vernon Sherman going on down to Dixie with on a fire trail, moving south. It's just about how it's done. That being said, and to be clear, just to cut any ambiguity, I have been straightforward in that I don't believe stochastic violence is an effective tactic for leftists at this time. Like at all, like flat out, if it's all like utilitarian judgment, I don't think that works in our favor at all right now. Like you can imagine some kind of scenario where like some sort of epic lefty communist sniper warrior assassin single-handedly defeats fascism by eliminating like 87 future Führers or whatever. But in reality, I don't think that's like a good road to go down. Community defense, that's what I try to focus on.
Got it. Interesting. All right, listen, I appreciate your well thought out answer on that one. Because a
Yeah,
lot of people
it's a whole
wanted
mess,
me to
yeah.
ask you about that. I guess with the recent arm yourself take. Listen, do you want to do a quick beard brushing break? We can.
Oh, it's the
I,
stupidest little autistic stim thing that I've been doing. I fuck with my beard for a
this
second,
part
and then it
here, right? It's
feels.
annoying as hell.
Well,
This part right
no,
here.
this I'm okay with. For me, it's this part underneath the chin and the sides right here, because I'll like touch it, and then it's like, oh, it's off by 1 billionth of a millimeter. So then I'll bring the brush. Wait, hold on 1 second. I have to pee. Talk to my chat for a
Yeah.
moment.
All right. Listen,
Oh, I
chat.
can't say that. My
VGG.
shorts are too short for Twitch. Let me pull my shorts.
He's nude. Yo, VGG, what's happening? How's it going? Listen, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, okay? I do banger content. I'm your favorite lib, all right? I'm not a preacher type. I just like to digest the news and have a good time with chat, all right? Some of you guys are already subbed. I appreciate you. Make sure you catch my other interviews, okay? I did one with Loner Box and I did one with Jojo the Mofo, and that Jojo the Mofo one is not getting enough views. I repeat, it's not getting enough views. It's an absolute banger, okay? And he's one of the fastest growing streamers on Twitch. What else? Why did you call me a cuck on Twitter? I never called anyone a cuck. I would never do that. There's nothing wrong with being a cuck anyways. You're my favorite Canadian progressive political YouTuber. Jesus Christ, why don't you add more qualifiers to it? Why don't you add Jesus Christ. I'm down bad.
Are you?
Yo. I was just memeing with your chat.
They love it when people do that.
Bro, these motherfuckers are like, you're my favorite brown Canadian progressive political YouTuber. I'm like, Jesus Christ, add more fucking qualifiers, why don't you?
Yeah, of the top one of the four that they know of, maybe. Hey, maybe it just means they know a lot about you. They're just showing off their knowledge.
Fair enough. All right. Listen, I think this was a good time. By the way, your shorts, what are you trying to do? Get my channel permabanned? What is
I
that?
pulled them down.
What are those, soccer shorts?
I personally, unless you're going for something specific, I think if you wear shorts with more than a 5-inch inseam, you're a fucking coward. I'm a solid 5-incher right now. Might even take it down to a 3-inch one. I actually do have 3-inch inseam shorts, but those are a little bit obscene. And they also are smaller than the underwear I wear underneath them, so I would either have to buy like a thong or I would have to like ride the underwear up, which kind of defeats the purpose.
Oh, I fucking said a thong. Listen, what's up with thongs anyway? They seem like the most uncomfortable thing. I think if I was a girl, I would still wear like boxer briefs. They're the best.
Yeah, I think I think those have to be the most comfy. I mean, they're hot, right? I think I like it. I mean, I think it's like the aesthetic. Like if you're not wearing any pants and the chick bends over and you can see her asshole on either side of the thong, like it's just completely ineffective at obscuring their bits. I mean, that's an aesthetic, you know. Can't get that with boxer shorts. But for comfort, yeah, I couldn't imagine wearing a thong, getting your asshole flossed every time you walk.
Fuck that, bro. You ever floss and you start bleeding from your gums? That's just what I think of anytime I see a thong. I'm like, shit, bro. Shit's way too small.
Right, you floss? Holy shit, you're like on the next level of health management.
Listen, I'm my private position and my public position on flossing are different.
Ah, gotcha. Well, that's me with brushing my teeth, just because I always forget to. This is the worst ADHD thing. I have it in my head. I have some behaviors knocked down to a routine, right? Like the like getting up in the morning, everything. But I always have to remember to brush my teeth. I always have to put effort into that. So I'll like leave a note or something. It's super annoying.
Yeah, fuck. Usually I just get told you stink. Go brush your teeth, which works.
Yeah, it helps to have somebody that you're macking up on, because they can give you friendly reminders.
Um, fuck you know, bro. This is the weirdest interview. One second we're talking about stochastic terrorism, the next second we're talking about thongs and porn. But
That's real. Well, I mean, you should. People should. You can never do a direct one-to-one, like you know why they happened. But man, when I had my cavity and I got my crown fitting, I was like, my brain was flashing through every morning that I forgot to brush my teeth. I don't even know if there was a relationship necessarily. Like sometimes it's just a genetic thing, or like some bit of rot has been in there for like 8 years that never got addressed. But whew, that was wild. Though actually, you know, to be fair though, my fake tooth is indistinguishable.
What happened? Your tooth fell out or something?
Nah, I was eating some food. It was actually a delicious panini. And a part of my tooth chipped, revealing a sort of molten, fleshy, extremely sensitive to pain, darkened interior, which I quickly checked is not good. So I went to the dentist. You know, they did the whole the root canal crown filling thing. And the thing is, like, it used to be if they did that, it would be like aluminum foil they'd put on it or whatever, like tin, like you'd get the tin fillings in your teeth.
Yeah.
You know what they do now?
What?
Okay, so here's
they put like some glue shit that kind of forms into a tooth.
no, they first they numb you, obviously, thank God, and then they used a saw to just cut off the tooth. So the only bits that were still there were the little like like the
roots and
knives.
shit?
Yeah, going into the gums, the roots of it. Yeah, but the majority, like 80% of the tooth, just yank right off. And then they use another drill to drill out the nerve endings inside those prongs that are stuck in your gums, because they can't yoink them out. So they have to drill into them and liquefy them. And then they put filler into the little prongs, and then they just use a 3D printer to sculpt that tooth of yours back, and they use cement, liquid cement, to just stick that right on there. And I have it in my mouth, and it's indistinguishable from my other teeth. It feels the exact same. I don't think about it at all. The only time I remember I have a fake tooth is when it comes up in conversation. It feels exactly the same, no difference whatsoever. So I could just lose all my teeth with no consequences except for the price.
Based.
I don't have
Well,
dental insurance.
I want to know is where the fuck did you get this panini from? And do you want to give him a negative review? What the hell kind of panini was this? Was there cinder block in there?
I have a panini maker. It was my panini.
Oh, so let's be honest. The bread was fucking not fresh. That's the problem.
No, the bread was fine. The crust of that bread was over toasted, because it's like that like fresh baked bread you get, where it's like kind of like kidney bean shape or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, like the sourdough where the crust on the outside is really tough.
Bro,
you toast that enough.
You ever watch The Office, bro? Are you an Office enjoyer?
I've seen some episodes.
Bro, in The Office, he like roasts his foot on a panini maker. I don't know what's worse, your self-inflicted panini incident, or Michael Scott's foot burning incident.
I'm now stronger. That tooth is a super tooth. Nothing I do can ever injure that tooth now. It has no sense. It has no feeling. It can't be injured. Cold, heat, nothing can be done to that tooth. I'm like a fucking cyborg. That foot is weaker now, unless he got a new foot, I guess. I didn't see that episode.
That's pretty interesting. But fuck, I've never done any sort of teeth surgery like that shit, and except for getting my wisdom teeth taken out, but they knocked me out cold for that one, thank God. Is it weird to hear a saw like in your mouth? What was that like?
Unimaginably, yes. I hated every second of that. Um, I mean, it didn't hurt. It's just you can feel the vibration. It was like when I got my keloids removed. The process for that too. It's anytime you get local anesthesia, right? It's you don't feel any pain, but you can feel tugging, and you can feel like your whole body area around there vibrating with whatever tool they're using, and that sucks.
Gotcha. Yo, listen, are you pressed for time or are we chilling?
No, we're
Just
chilling.
cute one. All right, blessed. All right, listen. So next question I want to ask you is, besides your bionic teeth, which side of your teeth is it, just in case you ever someone wants to punch you, make sure to stay away from that side. They might
Okay,
hurt their wrist.
I'm gonna be totally honest with you, and this is a testament to how identical it feels. The regular teeth, I don't remember. I know which tooth
Oh,
it
mate.
was. I just don't remember which side of my mouth. It's either right here or it's right on the other side. I don't remember which tooth it was.
All right, 50-50. Good luck. Good luck to whoever takes the risk, I guess.
Yeah. All right.
Um,
Hmm.
Listen. All right,
Got me
next
so
question I want to
close.
ask you. Let's move on. I got good questions for you. Are you enjoying yourself so far, by the way?
Yeah, I love talking to you, man. It's been a
Man,
while.
good. It has been. All right. So now that a few months have passed, do you think that you should have handled the J.K. Rowling situation a little bit better, or do you think that women should still be a little bit more quiet?
Well, I've always felt that way. That's not a new belief, Heem. Nah, I'm okay. I'm okay with how I handled it. A lot of this is probably like my pride, but I feel like it's really, really frustrating because I feel like even if I have a take that's not perfect, which happens all the time, I'm not perfect at all. Um, Sometimes it gets interpreted so uncharitably that I feel like I don't even want to make amends with the bad take or the flawed take anymore because they don't like deserve that. So like an example of that would be if you get something that's 99% right but 1% wrong when talking to a friend and then they're a huge cunt about the 1% you got wrong, you don't want to then go like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Wait, hold on. Let me try to correct that." Because at that point, like they've jumped the gun, and you don't feel like you have an obligation to do that anymore. That's how I feel with a lot of my drama with the online left. I mean, getting like blocked by Contra or whatever is unfortunate, but if she like, I don't know, if her disposition is to behave in that way, I guess I'd rather know that than not. Um, it feels more authentic, you know. I'm happy with the mistakes that I make for the most part because I think it gives me a better understanding of the community that I'm in and the people in it.
How does it feel to know that all of that could have been avoided if you just put a tone indicator?
I no, but that's the thing. Then I never would have known, right? Because if you had asked me before that drama what my relationship with ContraPoints was, I would have thought it was pretty mutually good. We talked publicly and privately. I made videos defending her. Not to say she should be buddy buddy with me because I've done that, but it's something. We seemed to have pleasant convos when we talked, and I never would have known like, oh yeah, all it will take is like one like stupid Twitter meme beef, and then like you'll get attacked and blocked or whatever. But I'm glad I know that. It's good to know who actually has your back.
True. I guess. Yeah. I mean, I think like a lot of the time with any content creation, it's like if you actually listen to the person or know that what like most times it's either out of context or they're joking or like there's a little bit more to it, and a lot of times people are so quick to jump on like the most uncharitable, I guess, interpretation that it's kind of like, I don't know, to me I've been very like black pilled on the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a
But
pretty hostile environment for friend making. The issue is, I think it's important to approach all this like you're not here to make friends, right? If you're part of a political space, there are so many factors involved in who people side with that aren't friendship, that treating it as a friend making project might be the wrong way of going about it. I think friends can be like the rare exceptional thing that springs out of that, but not like making a friend circle, not so much, because you even hear about like in the breadtuber circle with like Contra, Philosophy Tube, H-Bomb, Sean, or whatever, like you hear about like lukewarm at best relations sometimes between even these people who seem to be getting along just fine. And it's like, yeah, I don't know, it's not a social project at the end of the day, right? We're all here because this is our job, or we're here because we have a message to throw out there into the world, and that just does not always overlap with getting along with people.
Was it kind of interesting to be like that much in the limelight, I guess? With like J.K. Rowling's fucking huge, obviously. Even for you, I'm wondering, was that like, whoa?
Yeah, it's pretty fun because I hear stuff like my friends or family will be like, "Hey, you got brought up at the workplace yesterday, like impromptu or whatever," because just
Bro,
adjacency.
I just want to know, what is that conversation like? Hey, mom, how was your day today? Good. How was yours, sweetheart? And then you're like, well, J.K., you know, Harry Potter, mom?
She approaches me like I'll get a text, like literally after the J.K. Rowling thing. My mom texted me, and she was like, "Just saw you, J.K. Rowling being such a bitch," like 5 exclamation marks or something. Like they've got my back, you know. We ride, we die. Um,
So you're not like Jackson Hinkle and his dad.
no, they're permanently amused by and supportive of the shit that goes on, which I very much appreciate. But that's usually how they hear. But like they talk to me about it because they hear and they follow. I mean, they see my videos. My parents put on my streams sometimes on the TV if they're like making a meal or whatever. Because I mean, whatever. It's not like I
Is that
wasn't.
weird for you or no? I feel like
Nah,
I would hate it if my parents watched my stream.
I'm totally okay with it. All of the crazy shit that I talk about on here, it's like not that far off from the stupid shit I would say over the dinner table. Um,
Talking about horses the way you do?
honest to God, I, I feel like that also might have been a quote unquote joke line that I was rolling with back then too. They're very aware of what I'm like, so that's fine. And also, like when I hang out with
Yo,
my
that's amazing. Honestly, that's actually sick though.
no, I have a really good relationship with my parents. And we all treat each other like friends at this point, you know, because I'm 28, so like we're not nobody's parenting anyone, but like we're friends. I think that's a healthy way to continue past a point.
Based.
What was the thing that I was saying? Oh yeah, just in terms of the surreality of interactions with people like J.K. Rowling, it does sort of um bl- bleed together past a certain point, like what you get attention for and the extent to which that attention spreads. I guess you get a little bit desensitized to it. The J.K. Rowling thing in particular, though, was really, really wild. So that was a pretty funny. I love that. I love the attention. I like the whole making waves, even if it's over stupid bullshit like that. It's just like a fun reminder that you're alive, which is good.
You're actually, I guess maybe listen, you might be in the right career because I think most fucking people would say that. Like I've had days like that where listen, I might have made a tweet or something. One time I had a tweet that I said I just hate Republicans. I have no other politics or something like that
Mhm.
as a joke, like insinuating that like obviously fucking Republicans are need to be stopped. And then Ilhan Omar's press secretary or something
Hell yeah.
retweeted it and was like talking shit. And
Oh wait, hell no.
anyways, that day, my whole day was lost at work because my mentions were blowing up, people fucking responding, da da da, and like by the end of the day, I'm like, bro, this shit's exhausting. Like I need to be careful with these hot takes. But I guess maybe if it was like my full time gig, it would be different. I don't
Well,
know. Do you ever get
it's
like overwhelmed?
it's a mindset thing too, right? You know the meme about it like how what the fuck is e-bullying or cyberbullying? Just walk away, Lamau. That's not
Yeah, the, the
true.
the the Tyler the Creator one.
Yeah, that's not true 99% of the time. But if you're a big content creator, learning that truth, you have to like survive higher levels of attention, you know? Because like human brains are fucked. The way we seek out information and internalize, especially when it comes to us, is really irrational. So people will like look through YouTube comments where everyone's positive and then the one negative comment is what they remember. Stuff like that gets carried out to the highest level. If you don't believe me, look at J.K. Rowling, who name searches, despite being a literal billionaire, to find randos to argue with on Twitter, which is insane. Like she's one of the wealthiest people on the planet, one of the most powerful media figures on the planet. And that's what she spends her time doing because her brain is broken in the same way that a lot of people's are when they attain that kind of fame. I'm at a point now, and I think a good thing, where I can see like a viral Twitter thread, like I don't know, 20,000 likes or something, saying I'm a racist or I'm an imperialist or whatever else, you know. And I can just look at that and think it's funny, like, oh, they still care, smile, and then like not look at it. And that's the healthiest way to engage because you're never going to get like constructive criticism from anonymous online hatred. So there's no point at really engaging with it.
Do you have people in your inner circle or an inner adjacent circle that you look to for criticism?
Yeah, there are a few people, and I trust my community broadly. Not that I'll agree with every disagreement I have with my community. I won't always side with them, obviously, because I do disagree with my community all the time. But if I'm gonna like trust a pool of people, it'll be from my community. And I have some other people who I know like interpersonally who try to check me on stuff. Vermin does that a lot. Though Vermin's in Australia for the next 7 weeks still, so if I have any bad takes during that time, you can blame the process for failing.
The time difference.
Yeah, the not getting the responses out quick enough.
Fair enough. I know it takes a long time for the word to travel across the sea. That's understandable. I think everyone understands that. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess that's interesting. I wanted to know if well, did anything is that the biggest drama you've had? What are some like in terms of name recognition? J.K. Rowling.
In terms of like pure numbers of people involved, that's probably been the apex. The biggest like grabs of attention I've ever had on me have probably been the Reuters article on whether or not I'm the Kharkiv kid finder, the J.K. Rowling thing.
Oh yeah, that all happened back to back. The
Yeah,
Kharkiv
all
kid
at the
find
same
it. Then
time.
Reuters didn't Reuters have to fact check it?
Yeah, I got an email from one of their fact checking team who I'm like buds with now.
Amazing.
Yeah. The Charlie Kirk debate when I went over, both Tim Pool things have been huge in terms of broader response. There was another one too. What's the Oh, there was a time the Daily Wire and Post Millennial accused me of being racist for making fun of a black female conservative congressional candidate. That was back in 2020. That was relatively early on.
Imagine how fucking fast you've grown that 2020 was considered early on.
Yeah, it's and you know, this stuff happens. People, you know, rise and fall relatively quickly.
The 2020 was yesterday.
Yeah, it still feels like that. It feels like until we deal with this whole MAGA thing, we're kind of stuck in a given time period, you know?
Speaking of the MAGA thing, what do you make of the Donald Trump FBI raid?
I think it's pretty funny. I really hope something comes of it, because if nothing comes of it, it's like a huge political L. Like all it does is further the persecution complex that they have, for no gain. Like that would be that would be a huge issue. That being said, they seem to have gone in there with quite a bit of confidence, you know? Like going in there, Espionage Act, nuclear documents, Merrick Garland signing off, a former president not informing before the raid. Like so much here indicates that they're entering with an unbelievable level of confidence, but I don't know how long it'll take for them to you know, derive anything from that.
Materialize something.
Yeah.
I think it's funny how it's Merrick Garland of all people. Like it's almost like the universe coming full circle with everything that happened to him with not getting screwed out of the Supreme Court seat.
Yeah, he's really taking his revenge here.
Yeah, he's like enjoying it a little bit too much almost.
It seems like the thing they're really gunning for is that Donald Trump had his hands on very spicy shit and was like sharing it around, because they took a bunch of stuff from the area around where the documents were stolen or were kept, like cocktail napkins, and it looks like they're going to dust them for fingerprints. Which gives me the impression, like, do they suspect he's, like, selling nuclear secrets to the Saudis? Like, what the fuck is going on? Whatever it is, if they find anything, it's going to be, like, movie plot premise level extreme.
Do you think Donald Trump is gonna have any fingerprints? I think his fingers are too oily from all the chicken nuggies he eats.
Yeah, they're just going to be, like, flat ovals that they'll identify as his. The just a wad of cocktail napkins stacked a foot high with disgusting grease smears all over them. Yeah, I tend to eat. I eat chicken tendies with a fork. You know, I know that's psycho behavior. People always judge me, but I hate getting oil and like the little breading crumbs on my fingertips. So I would rather just like cut off a bit with the fork, eat like, you know, that. It doesn't like ruin the food.
I've noticed since our last debate on our podcast with Dylan that you've backed off of your advocacy for nuggies. You're not as radical as you used to be.
Well, I eat air fried nuggies. That's the thing. That's the secret to my weight loss. I have like literally like 5 bags of frozen air fried chicken nuggets in the freezer right now because they're fucking delicious and you can put anything on them. And
Do
they're
you dress
pretty
them up
healthy.
in any way, or you just eat them fucking with a little bit of sauce? Like, do you, like I don't know. Why don't you make a little sandwich, put some lettuce, tomatoes in there?
Well, I try to be careful with the calories. Bread's a lot of calories, and I don't really eat fruits or vegetables, which I know. I normally have them with a hot sauce mixed with unflavored Greek yogurt, like standard Greek yogurt. That shit is
Mm-hmm.
very good, by the way. It reminds me a lot of the this like the stuff that you dip like pita bread in it if you go to like a shawarma place or whatever. It's not tzatziki sauce. It's like not the hummus either,
Hummus,
but
not hummus. Tahini,
is
they
it
call it.
tahini?
Yeah,
Let me see. Let me consistency check. Tahini sauce. Yeah. Okay. Wait. Tahini, lemon juice,
but
garlic, sea
tahini is
salt.
with sesame. I think tahini is with sesame.
I think. Oh no. Wait. No. Maybe it's not. Well, whatever it is, some Greek yogurt, some hot sauce, maybe a bit of lemon juice in it together.
Actually
Very
sounds
very
good
good.
though.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do
Healthy
you
too.
you cook or what is this like? How do you
Uh,
eat?
Not really. I get meals pretty regularly from Conure and Vermin Cooking because we have HelloFresh for the like
Oh,
pre-made
okay.
meals.
I,
Uh,
is that enough? Like, or you guys have to get 100 servings? Because when we do it, it's barely enough for two people.
Oh, we normally get like 4 meals, 4 servings, or is it three meals, 4 servings? So it's 12
Oh,
meals
okay.
per week for the three of us. So like, but we don't always eat all of them. Sometimes stuff goes a little bit to waste. We try to
Interesting.
we try to avoid that though. I mean, that's not desirable. But
Of course, yeah.
I have some meals. I don't eat that much variety in food because dieting is tough when for like variety. It's usually like mashed potatoes or baked potatoes with hot sauce and seasoning, or the air fried chicken nuggies. There are some soups that I like. The Campbell's Chunky potato bacon soup is really good and only 400 calories for like a full meal that you feel full after eating. Um, and there are a couple other things. I have protein bars right behind me. But that's like all I eat basically. I keep it basically
Your
just to
weight
that.
loss has been very fucking inspirational, by the way. How much have you dropped? If do you share it with Chad or?
I think it's 70 pounds. I took a break from dieting and gained back 10 pounds, but I've taken a break now and lost those 10 pounds again. So I think 80 in aggregate if you count the weight I re-lost, but you probably shouldn't. It's 70 pounds in total. Uh,
Motherfucker said re-loss. That's not how it works, bro.
yeah, I know. Yeah, like oscillating water weight up and down every day and losing 50
Yeah.
pounds in 1 week. Yeah. Um, but it's yeah. I think a lot of it, some of the weight's also muscle gain because I definitely look skinnier than I did the last time I was this weight. Because I've been going on regular walks. My legs and my ass are getting pretty meaty, which is great. Because everyone likes that, especially if you're into guys. Are you into guys?
No, I'm not.
Okay, yeah, because a lot
I'm
of
a
girls
girl
out there.
enjoyer.
That's great. Don't get me wrong, girls are great. A lot of guys. I mean, they really want to grab your legs. So having nice, thick, meaty tree trunk legs is good for your prospects.
I mean, it might be good for that, but I played soccer my whole life, and it's hella hard to find pants that fit properly.
That's true. I mean, I never wear pants. I always wear shorts. So it's my. Do you wear flexible jeans, like flex
Yeah,
down?
those are fire, bro.
Okay, yeah, just yeah, making sure. That's like the future. It's like
I
no
have to,
reason
bro.
not
I
to.
have
Yeah.
to. So are you like exercising besides walking? Like, do you have like a regimen, or is this going like is this who's behind this incredible weight loss?
It's mostly just dieting because losing weight. It's mostly just about calorie restriction.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, the walking's all I've been doing lately because the costochondritis that I have makes it really tough to exercise. Basically, like 95% of exercise is unviable with the inflammation of the chest wall. But after I'm done with after I like get this taken care of with steroids, I think I might do like a very basic like walk chest day, walk back day, walk chest like that, like simple. Because if it's too complicated or it takes too long, I just don't do it. I try to keep my weight workouts like 15 minutes or less because I just get bored. So I just want to like get it done with, like just right through it and over. I've always been like that too. So I'm
So
looking forward
fucking
to that.
boring. Holy shit, bro.
It's boring.
I'm a
Yeah.
sports guy. I'm a sports guy. I always played basketball and soccer my whole life competitively, and now I'm at an age where I'm like, hey, I need to actually like work out, and it's the most boring shit ever. Like, I don't know how people enjoy it so much.
Yeah, it's fun to see the numbers go up and all, but I had a lot more fun with that when I was 15 and very strong because then like every bit of effort you put in, you know, you get that much farther. But I'm older now and I'm not as strong as I used to be, and I also have an injury or two, which means that the relentless pursuit of like numbers optimization is less interesting to me, and the actual process of exercising feels more like a maintenance thing.
I think that's a healthy relationship to have. Good for you. Doesn't you sound like you're in a good place mentally with streaming, with working out?
Yeah, I've been pretty
Um,
happy lately. Main thing that I'm not doing great on right now is that I have not been hooking up. I have just been the laziest sack of shit when it comes to being on my Tinder grind set, because like a lot of it is like it's such a bother because so many people are boring. But then like every once in a while I'll be like, oh well, I'm so concerned about COVID, you know, but I'm not really. It's just you know, not getting out there. So I got to work on that. You know, I gotta dip it out a little bit. We'll get there.
listen. When they said fortress arc, they you meant it in every way, I guess.
Yeah, the bitches can't get past these parapets. The moat, the bitch moat is operating at full capacity. We'll get there. It shouldn't be too hard. It's fucking Seattle. You can just open Tinder and it's all it's all
I've never,
gays.
I never. You know what's funny about online dating? I find this very interesting. It used to be kind of taboo when I was like maybe in my early 20s, let's say, or when I was like in my teens. It was really really taboo to be doing online dating, and now I feel like it's super normalized. But I never, I've been in a relationship for 9 years now, so how is it hard to find people on Tinder? Do you get matched a lot? Like, did you get a professional photographer to do your pictures or?
There's literally a picture in my Tinder bio that is a screenshot from stream. I do not put any effort at all into my shit. No, it's super, super easy to get matches on Tinder and hook up with people. Okay, wait, I'm sorry. I don't want to make chat mad. For me, it has always been very easy
Oh,
for me to get...
when you put a picture of your stream, that's like, hey, that's like a flex in a way almost.
Well, yeah, because like I only ever talk about what's on my mind, which means that I can't hold back the fact that I'm a YouTuber from anyone that I spend any time with. Because, you know, where do you work, right? Like I don't want to do the thing where it's like, "Oh, I work in software," you know, like I don't you know, I'll be forward with it. I don't care.
No,
Um
that's good.
yeah, because otherwise it just feels like what am I trying? If they have an issue, so here's the thing: if they have an issue with who I am online, they're gonna learn about it eventually, and I'd rather deal with that sooner than later. That's it. It's just make it a now problem, not a future problem.
You should
Um,
make your Tinder tagline thing like, how do you feel about J.K. Rowling?
well, I mean, considering the fact that I match with all these gays, it's so many gays, so many queer, NB,
Oh wait,
trans,
I'm sorry.
whatever.
I don't know anything about this. You're open on your Tinder. You're open to getting matches with anyone and everyone. Is that how it
Well,
works?
I am. Yeah, I mean, you can select like if you only want to see men or women or whatever, but I
And
have
you
it
get
set for
way
everyone.
more. You get way more dudes.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah. Guys are always way more indiscriminate when it comes to who they swipe right on than girls are. But you know, not within an acceptable variance. So there's still plenty of girls on there. I generally try to avoid the guys though. A lot of guys. Here's the secret they don't want you to know. Guys are disgusting, just fucking revolting. They
Smelly
truly are.
balls.
I'm sorry.
Smelly balls.
No, not smell. Well, it's nothing to do with the balls whatsoever. And all of the people, all the guys that hook up with are bottoms, which means they would be like fastidiously hygienic, you know. So not even that. It's just the no decorum whatsoever. Absolutely no sense
No
of
chivalry.
no chivalry. Wine and dine me. I just want to have a conversation with people. That's my thing. I don't want romance necessarily, you know. I don't want any, you know, you don't have to commit to me or whatever. I want to have a conversation. With girls, you know, most of the time, you have to have a conversation to convince them that they want to have sex with you. Like there's a line there. But with a lot of guys, their hole is open the moment you both swipe right. And they're like rushing to that. You're like, hey, how are you doing? And they're like, I live at 4233 West Elm Street, and I'm on the second floor. Here is a picture of my asshole. And it's like I don't mind that. I don't mind casual sex. I would, however, like to know who you are first, just for curiosity's sake, you know? So
Do
that's my.
do you ever feel like hot women probably go through the same thing?
Oh God, for sure. I feel so bad, especially straight women. Holy shit, I feel so bad for straight women. People say like straight women have it so easy on social media or like on Tinder or whatever because everyone matches with them. And that's true, but you have to understand the quality of these matches, okay? A lot of these matches are frankly and fully respectfully beneath their consideration, and I don't blame them for feeling that way. This is a fucked sex economy, and I do blame guys. They need to hold off just a
That's
little bit.
my personality shines. Okay, don't talk shit, bro.
No, well, listen, if you're selling yourself based on your personality, like whatever, phenomenal stuff right there, right? Having sex with a hot person who can't hold a conversation is a total waste of time. You do it like once and like, woo, I proved to myself I can do that. From that point on, it's boring. It's just it's boring. It's not. It's just it's not engaging. Like any other social interaction, you need to be able to hold a conversation. Otherwise, you might as well be masturbating.
You want to hear my most anti-capitalist take? I feel like all of this is rooted in the grind, the Western grind set,
Hit
bro.
me with
When
your
I
Marxist sex tape.
Yeah, here I come with my materialist analysis. The proletariat in the Western world, they're so busy grinding that we kind of like children aren't I guess like educated on these kind of the importance of these social interactions. So I grew up in Iran and I was 7 years old when I moved to Canada. And as soon as I moved here, I recognized that there was a massive gap between my ability to socialize and other kids who grew up, here, or even my cousins, the ones that grew up in Iran, their social skills are 100 times better than the ones that grew up here, just because they're so isolated here, and I guess parents are so busy working and stuff. So I think a lot of guys' struggles with dating comes from not having gotten that like proper education and socializing as a kid.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And we undervalue friendship here, which so we value relationships in like this Disney, like happily ever after kind of way, which is really superficial, you know. But the bedrock of relationships is and always has been the friendship. If you're not friends with your partner, then frankly, I don't respect your relationship. What the fuck are you doing? You have to be friends with your wife slash girlfriend slash whatever. You have to. But we don't value that. And you're right, we do have this highly commodified attitude towards how we spend our time. So even on like dating apps or whatever, it's like, okay, am I on here for a relationship or for sex? And if it's for sex, they're gearing for sex, and like that's it. Like that's the end point, you know. Or if it's a relationship that's like they're looking for that status point. But there's very little appreciation for like the process of bonding with somebody in like a authentic, you know, friendly way. And I think that fucks up a lot of things, including my dating prospects, because a lot of these guys have no fucking idea how to hold a conversation. And then it's like, okay, so you have an asshole. That's great. Literally everyone does. Congratulations. You're so special.
Yeah, it's really frustrating, I guess, and I always sympathize with women on that front. That like, listen, it must be nice to be a dude. All you have to have as a dude is just half decent ability to listen, and you're already ahead of like 99% of
No,
the
literally,
competition.
yeah. For a lot of girls, I imagine, you know, like if they talk with a guy who can just have a regular convo, it's already like a fucking oasis in the middle of the desert of hundreds of likes where these guys sound like chatbots that are optimized to get pussy, but really poorly. Uh, so yeah. To be fair, there are a lot of women who also just like try to coast on their appearance, you know, like they'll be really boring because like they know they've got giant tits and they're like set, you know.
But
Um,
usually they're fucking hot guys anyways, so who cares?
True, they do tend to be otherwise occupied. And also, in my experience, a lot of those women do want to have like normal conversations. They've just kind of been conditioned not to because they tend to have smoother interactions with guys if they're not too like personable, like or if they're not too headstrong. You know what I mean? Like they tend to
Yeah, yeah.
mute their personalities a bit. So that can be a bit sad, I think. I don't know. People
Do
should
you,
talk.
can I ask you a question? This is like I'm
Yeah, like
hella cis,
hardcore
hella,
rambling at this point. So yeah.
I'm hella cis, hella hat, whatever. Okay, I don't know any of this stuff. I'm a monogamy champ. When you view like potential partners, do you have any preference whether it's a woman or a man, whether you get a dick or a vagina, like, or is there like times where you prefer one over the other? I'm curious how this dynamic works.
I've never been in a romantic relationship with a guy. I'm not necessarily opposed to it. I guess I generally tend to go for feminine people anyway. There are plenty of feminine guys, right? But I've been with fairly masculine guys as well, so it varies. Um, but I think the issue is that there's like a personality style with guys that I despise. And it's this like machismo aversion to showing affection. This inauthentic, like, haha, I can't open up to you, and I'll even make it clear that I can't open up to you because it'd be gay to do so. There are gay men who will do this, by the way, which is very interesting. Like they'll suck dick and they'll still be like that.
Hmm.
I hate that. And there are a lot of guys who are like that, you know. It's one of the reasons why I find it exhausting to be friends with guys too. Because if you're friends with girls, and I'm being very broad, like very general here. You know, obviously these are
Fair enough. Yeah,
stereotypes,
there's
but
always exceptions.
yeah. But like generally speaking, if you're friends with chicks, like they tend to be pretty forthcoming and they tend to be pretty expressive about like their emotions, which is really nice. Like people will cope by saying like, oh, women are all deceitful bitches. When they say they like you, they're lying. That's massive cope. Women just are more comfortable expressing how they feel about their friends. So if they're having a problem or you're having a problem, I think they're way more likely to be upfront. But guys bottle everything up and they're so afraid of being seen as emotionally weak or like codependent that they will like sabotage their relationships to avoid demonstrating any of those like basic human interpersonal.
Vulnerabilities.
Yeah, like this aversion. And like I get that for like if you've just become a friend or whatever, but there are guys who have been friends with each other for 10 years and they still can't open up to each other about their
No, they do
feelings. That's
open
a
up to each
real
other when
thing.
they open up to each other when they do
Well,
MDMA.
they need the fucking walls knocked down. But isn't that sad? Like
Yeah.
imagine being like a dude bro, like a regular guy, like a normie, and having your best friend's another like dude bro guy, and you've known each other like since high school for years and years and years, and you both can't even like have a basic emotional conversation about how much the other person means to each other. Like that's so fucked. But they live like that.
You know what's fucked?
Why?
I've been in a relationship for 9 years, right? And until just recently, when my dad passed away, I never cried in front of my partner before. And she always used to literally be like, she'd like cry during a sad movie or something like tangentially sad would happen, and she'd start crying. And she's literally turned to me one time. She's like, are you a psychopath? Like, why aren't you crying?"
Oh, well, guys are trained, literally trained not to. And that, by the way, people say that's biological. It is to an extent, hormones, estrogen, whatever. But it used to be considered masculine to cry. In fact, I'm pretty sure there are historical accounts of like Greek generals and like soldiers. The idea of them like looking on the battlefield and weeping, or like being with their comrades after a battle and like crying over the dead or something, like that wasn't seen as like a justified vulnerable weakness. That was like the masculine thing to do, because the idea was that the crying was an expression of their passion. It was an emotive state, and that passion was a masculine expression of your interest in the same way that like a battle cry would be, you know? And that it was actually the demure, reserved behavior that they considered feminine, like the, be calm and wait attitude. They considered that the feminine, and the guys were out there
Interesting. I
bawling
never
their
knew
eyes out.
this.
Yeah,
I never
there
knew
there
this.
was a paper on it, I think, on like relative social conventions, but I read it ages ago, so I don't even know where it'd be found. But yeah, no, it varies a lot through culture.
I interviewed Jojo last week, and he was saying that he's like, sometimes girls send each other nudes. Guys need to start sending their boys dick pics.
I unironically think that's true. Okay, I want to be clear. I genuinely think that would be a good thing, because chicks are so good at taking nudes. Like they'll put effort into that. They'll do like their own little art pieces or whatever. But straight guys especially will send like these grainy Sasquatch photos in at like taken at 4 a.m. with the only light from the fucking phone camera. Um that are highly unappealing. And I say this including myself, by the way. This is very much a self-critique. But I feel like half of the reason the girls' shit looks better is because they do treat it as kind of like a project, like making the better nude in a lot of cases. Whereas for guys, it's just like, oh, she wants to see my dick. Okay, like no whatever.
We don't think about angles and lighting, is what you're saying.
Yeah, guys should be. And you know what? Even if you're totally straight, like, okay, so you see your friend's cock and balls or whatever, great. Give them lighting tips. There used to be a great Tumblr called,
Or grooming. Like, bro, your ball's looking a little hairy or something like that, you know?
yeah, there was a Tumblr called Critique My Dick Pic. I don't know what happened to it since they banned porn on Tumblr. Wait, actually, that was a very useful. The end of an era. Rip Critique My Dick Pit. A Daily Dot article. Wow. I wonder if there's an archive somewhere. Or like a separate website.
You would wonder about something like that.
Well, it was very helpful. Yeah, it was like the lighting and like the angle and everything. It was very good. Um wait, did they archive
How
it
the fuck
somewhere?
am I gonna divert this back into our original main serious interview?
Oh, you better do it quickly too. I'll probably have to be done at the hour.
All right, listen. Then let me ask you, okay? Fuck, I have so many. All right, actually, we've been doing good. All right, let me ask you a question. Right, this one I might be a tough question. I'm sorry to do this to you, but
Mhm.
looking back on your tumultuous relationship with Destiny, do you think he's
Oh.
more helped you or been a pain in your ass? Like for example, if you lived in an alternate universe where you could grow as a streamer without DGG notoriety, but I told you he wouldn't be reacting to your videos or whatever, would you take that?
Well, it's difficult because included in the calculation is the fact that I probably wouldn't have started streaming if I wasn't a fan of his channel. Obviously, I was
Mm,
heavily influenced. So there's no getting around. So it's kind of like a non-starter in a universe without Destiny. It's far less likely I would have been doing this. So to that extent, in a kind of like, influenced by a sense, I have to give credit there. I can't. I'd be delusional not to. In terms of like since starting the stream, I think that his influence on the community and on my brain has been generally negative. Just sort of an aura of brain cancer, it's sort of emanating, only worsening with time. But that doesn't really cancel out the initial bit, which is the channel starting to begin with. So I don't really know. There are people in DGG who stuck with my community and have turned out to be like pretty cool in the long run. So
I
I don't
think I
want to be
consider
essentialist about
myself.
it. I'm very
I think
happy with where I am.
I think you can be a fan of both. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like there's a lot of I don't know. Maybe I'm a fence sitter. Yeah, I like both of you guys. I remember though a couple of years ago you said that even when you were kind of beefing with him, you said you would watch his videos from time to time. Do you ever still watch his videos or?
Oh no,
You're...
no, it's been a while. I feel like I feel like I think there's one video of his that I've seen sometime in the past year, and I think it was some technical thing or like a discussion with some kind of expert. I forget what it was about. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, because there's always useful info in there, right? I mean, my critique of Destiny has never been that he's stupid. That would be a pretty
Hmm.
difficult critique to make. There's
Yeah,
good stuff there, I'm sure.
do you think that like sometimes I have this criticism for him and I guess a little bit for you as well, like that some of the things that you guys discuss, let's say some controversial issues about I don't know Asia consent, whatever you name it, you know the ones that these kind of topics will like make you unappealing to a new audience member or a normie that might have been introduced to your content. And this I would say the same thing to him. Some of the topics that he talks about, I wonder if like do you ever consider that if that like hurts your growth at all or anything
Oh
like
no,
that?
no, yeah, for sure. I've been trying to move. I've been trying to be a little bit more conscious of like my broader. I don't know if optics is necessarily the word that I'm looking for here because it's
Use it, bro. I love that word. Use it, please.
because I obviously still like argue with people all the time and there's drama, tangents, and beefing or whatever. I don't shy away from that. But I guess I try to think of the big picture and like what issues are like really worth engagement. So a good example of this would be black nationalism slash black separatism. So
Mm,
something happened to my community which opened some kind of space-time rift and assembled from the far corners of the universe 10,000 warriors of black nationalism who want to debate me on this subject. Like I've turned down so many emails from people who want to talk with me on this subject. And I've had the conversation like 10 times, like 15
Mhm.
maybe. I mean, maybe more than 15. And it's gotten to the point where like nothing new can be learned. I like those convos because I think they're fun and interesting, but if you keep having those convos, you just become known as the white guy who's super against black liberation, which I'm
Yeah.
not, by the way, but that's how it gets framed.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not necessarily an optics thing. It's like where you direct your energy.
Mhm.
Because like earlier,
Priorities.
the religious thing, right? I hate religious conversations because even if I think I'm right, which I do, I'm not going to convince anyone outside of sort of affirming my anti-theist position broadly. But there's no utility to making the channel about that because if you make people mad, they want to come on, and then you have that convo, and then more people want to come on, and they want to have that convo, and then more people want to come on, and it never ends. And your whole channel can turn into like a fucking test chamber for like a permanently online forever argument that just never moves past a central disagreement, you know?
Yeah, interesting. Listen, before I let you go, I have one more main question and then a couple yes or no rapid fires, and then
Kill
I'll
me.
let you go, okay? Listen, I'm very happy that you decided to put together a canvassing effort. I'm very proud of you for doing that. It's very nice that you're trying to have IRL impact. I guess going back to your other to the previous question, do you fear that your some of those clips of you going around out of context, whatever, do you think that those will be used to attack your canvassing efforts, or have you thought about that?
I have the goal is that it doesn't because the design here is the Progressive Victory 2022 is the organization that's handling everything here. Education, distribution, outreach. This is by design. We actually talked earlier on like how much do I want to control everything? And I'm hands off on it entirely. And the reason for that is because while the people who are canvassing out there are from my community, while they are being brought to the Progressive Victory 2022 Discord channel and advocacy groups from me, it's not my thing. The criticism that they could levy would be like, wow, given politician, did you know this group of young volunteers that worked with you earlier are actually associated with an organization that has had advertising work done for them by a streamer who said this 2 years ago? And it's like, that's enough layers of separation that I think we're okay because it's so much more farther removed than like Destiny taking a photo with the mayoral candidate in
Right.
Omaha before. Like I want to be hands off because that allows the org to flourish in spite of me, which is what I want. I just want to be like the like pipeline to get people in there. You know, it makes me look a bit lazy, but that's okay because I am a bit lazy and I'm not a canvassing expert. It's never been in my skill set. I'm very okay with letting the experts like handle that, and I want to turn this into like a long-term framework. I don't want it to just be like 2022, you know. The goal would be that this is like a reliable
Infrastructure.
exactly. Like yeah, like and this can be relied upon and that way you have predictable effects, predictable outcomes based on your advocacy and that is something you can leverage for political power. Hey, remember Progressive Victory 2022, the group that almost certainly secured wins in these local state elections and definitely tipped the scales in this like national election? Wouldn't you like their support? It's such a shame that you, I don't know, believe black people are dumb and gay. If you can address that, maybe you know what I mean. Like you
Yeah.
use it political pressure, and that's what the left needs. We need ways of pushing for political pressure in house within the
Someone is saying
system.
you want to be the shady man in the smoke filled corrupting the politicians
But,
with the back.
but wouldn't that be great? Like
Yeah,
if you're
I
like it's
would.
like a dark room. This like I take a huff of the cigar or whatever, and I'm like, those the tax plan, it's not looking good. And I've got like numbers on the back of how many people could be canvassing for them. That's the goal for sure, for sure. Yeah. But I am not
Based.
in charge of Progressive Victory 2022. So in a literal sense, they make those decisions, not me. To be clear, I'm high on my own supply here. They are the ones who actually manage all that logistical stuff.
That's good though. At least I think it's important to learn lessons, and I wish you nothing but the best. I guess. So this is for the upcoming elections in what, November?
Yeah, yeah. Initially then, and and hopefully we can keep it going from there. I mean, there are always like special elections. You know, people leave. Maybe a bunch of Republicans
But
will get
that'll be the
arrested and have
first
to flee their
that'll
office.
be like the first I guess testing ground, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, we're past. I think we're at around 6,500 people that are signed up.
Based.
at the
Based.
moment, all over
Congrats.
the United States. Thank you. We even have, I
Um,
think, 7 people in Wyoming.
7 people. I think there's only 9 people that live in Wyoming,
Yeah,
so
we're
it's
like
impressive you got 7 of them.
practically taking over the state here. Holy shit. Yeah, 7 people. Goddamn.
Jeez. All right.
One of
Listen.
them's on the reservation. I didn't even realize that. One of them's on the Wind River reservation. So I guess they would be a native.
One Vosh viewers are hail from all backgrounds. You heard it here first.
Absolutely.
All right, rapid fire question. Okay, I asked the Twitter if they had any questions for you.
Hmm?
I picked a couple of them. Would you do a human sacrifice to end capitalism?
One single guy?
Yeah, yeah.
That guy would be worshipped as a god to humanity for like centuries after. Yeah, I would have to, right? That would be that's iconic. You have to go for that.
Okay. All right. Someone else asked me to ask you this. I don't know the history behind it. Do you feel bad about your convo with XQC? Do you remember talking to XQC?
Convo with
Okay,
chat. Wait,
moving
no,
on.
wait, hold on. Chat?
Okay, never happened.
They never did. No, wait, why am I I think I was in a group call with XQC one time before I had a channel, I think. I don't remember. I think I made a gay joke at him. That's what I remember. Is it that? Do I regret?
I have no fucking clue.
Did
I
I say
thought I just
something
saw it.
bad? If I said
Did you
something
make fun of him for being French?
No. Okay, wait, then I regret not doing that. I don't remember, but if I said something cringy, then I guess I do regret that. This is something that's come up a lot. Really quick, like on the autism thing, you know? I've always been really good at public speaking, but that's not like holistic social experience right there, right? Like a person can be good at public speaking and be really cringy in interpersonal conversations. And I have to say, getting big off streaming has been the biggest like autism cauterization I could ever imagine happening to a person. You can spend your life being kind of weird or awkward, and then wow, hey, millions of people are now watching what you're doing, and will criticize you for anything that deviates from what they consider acceptable behavior. Watch out. Wow, that makes you shape up quickly. So if somebody told me that I was cringy while talking to XQC before all that, I would believe them probably.
Gotcha. Well, who knows? Nobody knows. Chat seemed just as confused as you and I. So, okay, here's an interesting one. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horse?
The 100 duck sized horse. That's always the right answer. With 100 duck sized horses, you can manage that engagement. A horse sized duck could peck you and literally blow your brains out with one thwack. You gotta be careful.
All right. Someone on Twitter said that you're programming a chicken nugget game. Is that true?
Yeah. I've been trying to learn some basic Unity code because I finished Disco Elysium and I like detective games a lot. And there's a kind of detective game that I don't think exists, or at least not in the way I want it to. And I've really wanted to see, like, I mean, be the change you want to see in the world, right? So I want to learn how to use Unity, and to that end, I'm doing a practice game, Peepo's Nuggy Quest, to begin with, and that we're working on.
Okay.
And,
Well, listen,
progress
if you
is
do
coming.
that, the second part of the question was, can you make me one of the final bosses?
Because you hate nuggies, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, actually,
I can be like
yeah. See,
A Persian prince that absolutely hates nuggies, loves kebabs only.
I think I'll see what I can do.
Right. And then last question. Before I let you go, what's a TIFF? Do you actually know what a TIFF is? Did you
I
ever
still
figure it
don't
out?
remember. People have explained it to me, but my brain discards the information every time as part of like an effort to maintain the comedy element of my ignorance. So it's just sort of, I just, I can never know that information now. It cannot enter my mind.
You just force like a trauma, like you never
Yeah,
want to relive.
exactly. It gets shoved right back in the box. You know, the nanosecond it's comprehended.
All right, there you go. Listen, one other thing. What is the? Remember when you debated that guy about the porn thing, and then he was like, he was asking you about thick ropes.
Porn thing, porn thing, porn
He
thing.
was like the professor who was
Oh, the
anti-porn.
Nazi. Yeah, that was great. I I should have said more bad stuff to him. Yeah, he's
That shit was so funny, bro. And someone wanted me to ask you about thick ropes. I don't know. They didn't really pose the question though. They just said ask him about thick
I don't
ropes.
know what to say other than I mean I'm what I'm saying is lots of cum. Hopefully the now we part the curtain to understand the meaning.
I
Um
understood.
I have some fucking cum pills back there. I just haven't taken them due to the aforementioned self-imposed Tinder drought. But I have
Fair
to
enough. You don't want to be like that South Park meme where it's just the room is covered and shit.
yeah, I'm not gonna waste fucking cum pills on masturbation. That seems like kind of a waste. Uh, yeah.
Fair enough. All right. And then lastly, someone from chat said, "Remember that in the beginning of the conversation, I said we should get you a drink at your favorite bar."
Yeah.
The name. Someone suggested a name. You can take it. You can leave it. You can call it Fruit Punch a Nazi.
Oh, that's actually good. I feel like Unicorn would take to that too.
All right. Listen, chatters, get on it. All right, bro. Thank you so much for coming on. I hope you enjoyed this interview. It was nice chatting with you.
The pleasure's been mine.
Uh,
It's nice talking to you again.
Yeah, listen, we can always have a debate too. There's tons of things that I disagree with you on that we could debate on, so maybe I'll hit you up for one of those
Ah,
sometime.
but if we never debate, I can pretend we actually agree on everything.
We agree on most shits anyways, so who cares anyways. But if you ever were looking for that, I can hit you up. All right. Listen, make sure you guys hit the like button on Vosh's stream in YouTube right now, all right? I was
And
told by chatters to remind
thank you. And they should.
and
And they should go sub to you as well.
all right, brother. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your stream and we'll talk soon, all right?
Talk soon. Take care.
Salud. Have a good one.
Salud. Hello. I like him. Cum pills, what the fuck are you talking about? Like zinc supplements that increase the volume of your ejaculation. So you can paint people. Yeah, that was a good convo. Went on longer than I thought it would, though. Is that a thing? Of course it's a thing. That's not even the most extreme version of the thing. Why would Yake that? What? Oh god, Posadas, I don't want to see. I'll look later. I'll stream. Thank you, though. Yeah, the lock and load. Yeah, Sander Hall did in fact inform a lot of people that it is a thing. I'm going to read donos and just talk with chat for a little bit. I have some stuff that I have to get to relatively soon. How are you all doing? Okay, just closing the tabs, making sure all the tabs are closed. Vosh, you always say that was a nice convo. I like that. Then turn around and say you hate having pleasant convos. So to be more specific, the conversations that I really don't like are the conversations where somebody just wants to come on to agree with me on a political position that we both have. That's the main thing I don't like. I do try to moderate the interviews a little bit because especially since you guys have all heard like my life story a good number of times. But yeah, that's the main thing that gets me. The other thing I don't like is when people want to come on to talk about some like field of expertise or some information they have that I can't really like check or comment on, because if that's the case, it's basically just like them being the streamer for an hour, which I can't even fact check them really. Yeah, I don't like circle jerking, basically. Where do you get the pills? What brand are they? Okay, I don't want to be responsible for you all taking fucking nut pills. Okay, but the brand thing is called Lock and Load. And they are expensive. They are not a proletarian indulgence. Yeah, zinc supplements and some other stuff, but zinc is the main thing. Could you give Center Spiral the chud tag? So many of us got baited into engaging with them. Getting baited into engaging with someone doesn't mean the chud tag, though. Just means that you guys suck at not getting baited. All right, hold on. Hawkow Win with a 666 and $5. Thank you very much. From a consequentialist perspective, could you accept religion if it prevents stupid / unempathetic people from killing each other at the cost of cucking yourself? I don't know what you mean by accept religion. Do you mean like for me personally or like other people? I do accept religious people. I don't necessarily know what you mean. Also, Hawkow Win tried to explain what a tiff is, but I can't even read it. Belle de Jour, thank you for the 5. Satanic 666 Poet, thank you for the $5. Take this bit of my rent money. I want Hoochie Daddy shorts next OK Buddy Vosh stream. Want to see them pasty juicy thighs. Signed a thirsty black NB subber. Well, there you go, chat. Vosh, so you be nutting zinc and multivitamins? Just because zinc makes you cum more doesn't mean you're cumming the zinc. It means that the vitamins stimulate your body to produce more cum. It doesn't mean that that's like drinking milk, and because it makes you pee more, you think you're peeing milk. Why would you want to cum more? Because some people like it when you cum a lot on their face. What do you... Stop. No, stop. Straw Hat 182. Nice name. Thank you for the tier 2 sub. Hi here, take my money and stand tall king. I'll try my best. Thank you. Magos Vrin with the tier 1 sub. A head pat for all the good little Voshites. There are none. Jirakbo Jama, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Really appreciate that. Suji, thank you for the two $10 both. Catching up in your stream last night, and a good concept to use to argue the harm of a rain dance is called an opportunity cost, same as the harm of homeopathy. No need to go full human sacrifice. Everyone could starve because they had faith in the rain dance instead of going out and scouting for an alternative. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why you don't want you don't want people to. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, perfectly said. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I don't even have anything to add. Completely straightforward. Link Man, thanks for the tier 1 sub. Chucky with the tier 1 sub says, Puppers. Puppers. Ooh. Beautiful. Former President Richard Tricky Dick Nixon with the $10. Vosh, the straightest gay man. I've got that shmoney. I barely made more than usual with that overtime. Capitalism got me feeling some type of way. I love Nixon. Please be careful with your expenditures if you're donating to me. I love you. Just letting you know. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Also, just because you cum more doesn't mean there are more sperm in the cum. I don't care how much sperm there is in my cum. I don't want to impregnate people. I just want there to be big loads. God. Sake, thank you for the $10. So noted. You can call me Neck with the 100 kronar. For me, bocce classes and integrating into my local Latino community has helped my social skills a lot. The Latino community is very heartwarming and open compared to the Swedish culture I grew up in. Oh my god, absolutely. Fucking Latino culture is like fucking everyone knows their family, lives in with the people they care about, you know, very open, very passionate. And then you have Swedish people who stand 20 feet apart from each other at bus stops. Oh yeah, also if you're Hispanic, you can say the N-word. That's true. Captain BT with the $10. Vosh, what is the ultimate self-cuck for fascism or religion? Well, the self-cuck in either case would be if I adopted them without believing them. But fascism has to be worse than religion, because religion can lead to people being irrational in ways that can have outcomes similar to fascism in the worst case. But fascism is already fascism, so... Sop Top, thank you for the 10 Australian. Hey Vosh, as a non-American, I think you aren't going far enough with your discussion around civil conflict occurring in the USA. From the outside, it looks like there are terrorist movement forming. I'm doing what I can. Doing what I can, you know. I'm not a revolutionary leader here. I can't, you know, can't be too wacky. Dr. Osmium, thank you for the $5. Have you seen the plasma lamp that came with the collector's edition of Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance? What? God damn. A plasma lamp is such a dope thing to have as like a collector's edition bonus. Oh my, I didn't even see. It's a fucking katana. Holy shit, that's cool. You're stabbing out the spine. I like it. So how are you guys doing? Pretty okay? Sober? Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah, Partisan Ben. I'm happy to hear that. Yes, Phoenix Slayer, I will. Man, my new AC has been putting in so much work. I couldn't be more proud of it. Yeah, Control is a good game, Quoteth. Panic Stasis. Multiverses is just not my type of game. Can you add a pleading face emote? There is a good reason why there isn't one. I did not see that funny rhetorician. Have you seen the Saudi Arabian line city they're trying to build in the desert? It's so dumb. Yeah, I saw this. It's the ultimate, like, gigacope. I really wish that my brain was made of liquid so that I could look at 3D renders of completely unfeasible, ridiculously impossible, unviable, inefficient, stupid, disgusting architectural projects, and I could be like, oh, dude, that's so cool.
Is taking place. Imagine a traditional city and consolidating its footprint, designing to protect and enhance nature. The line's communities are organized in 3 dimensions within...
Like, you could literally be like, here's how we'll fix problems. What if we took all of our cities and we compressed them into a giant cube in the Pacific Ocean? If you did a 3D render of that and you put, like, inspiring music with a montage over it, like, people would believe it, you know? Whose fault is this? This is the Saudi government.
5-minute walk neighborhoods. Travel end to end in 20 minutes. Designed by world-leading architects, the line is 500 meters tall, 200 meters wide, 170 kilometers long, and housed within an elegant mirror glass facade. The line is designed as a series of unique communities, providing equitable views and immediate access to the surrounding nature. At the heart of the globe's key trade routes, a place for commerce and communities to thrive. The Line, the city that delivers new wonders for the world.
Yeah, okay. So, like, guys, please don't make me have to explain why this is bad. Don't worry, it'll never be built. Stuff like this is just like PR marketing for incredibly gullible people to, like, this is the kind of stuff that's, like, commissioned by dictators to make people around the world soy at how their authoritarian theocracy is actually more advanced than our country because they can put together a 3D render. Like, the Saudi government has done this multiple times. It's the same shit Dubai did, you know? Like, yeah, dude, absolutely. Because then you have dipshits over here, like white boys in Silicon Valley, being like, bro, America's lagging behind. Even Saudi Arabia is building the wall, the line city. We're falling behind, you know? Like, okay. I like this, by the way. Recreation, retail, in this, like, just Jenga random block. Like, look at this for a second. You realize these blocks don't correspond to anything, right? Like, at all. Like, what is this? So that's a stair up. What is this? Just a what? How do you hear? What? Hello? What? Literally living pens for human cattle. It doesn't, like, even though it is really dystopian, please take heart in the knowledge that this cannot be built. It literally can't be built. No, so they can make 3D renders on it if they want, but the moment they got an architectural firm to draw up the plans and budget it, nobody would sign off on it. Nobody, ever. You know why? Because nobody could. There is no institution on Earth wealthy enough to do this. The United States government could not fund this project because it is not feasible. The US military could? Nobody could, because it's not possible. It's like building a 2-mile-high skyscraper. It's not a matter of money. It can't be built. We don't have the technology to build a 2-mile-high skyscraper. You can have all the money in the world. You still can't build a 2-mile-high skyscraper. Yeah, it's more of a physics issue. You can use carbon nanotubes. This isn't that complicated to build. It wouldn't be possible for human habitation. Well, no, that's what I mean. You could build a half-kilometer tall line in the desert if you wanted to, but you couldn't make this. You couldn't make this do the thing that they want. It would just be a money sink. You know what I mean? Like, it's not feasible from a design perspective. Like, even if they could build this, which, I mean, you can. Like, it's not impossible to build a high wall. It wouldn't do what they want it to do, which means it would be a waste of money. Top 10 GoFundMe scams? Yeah. That shit's wild. Have you guys seen the Captain Disillusion video on the scam with the phone screen being projected off of the wrist thing? The circlet? Yeah, the circlet. Yeah, the secret circlet or whatever. Scammers are wild, man. No, please show it. I don't think I can. It's probably copyright. It's also like a 10-year-old video. Maybe I can? No, I don't want to. You guys should watch Captain Disillusion anyway. It's such a good channel. People believe that shit? Well, yeah, people don't have a realistic understanding of how engineering or anything works, you know? Like, anything at all. Anything. So, yeah. He never posts anymore? I mean, he's doing stuff, you know? Whatever. Look at how bad this Saudi city concept is. What is this? Trohena, the Mountains of Neom. Oh, this is the same company. Oh, yeah, see? This video was posted earlier this year. It has 36 million views. This is literally just PR... reputation laundering for the Saudi government. This weekend, Ramen? Oh yeah, 3.6k likes. Something tells me this is being hosted on another site. There would be no point in botting it, I don't think. They might have it hosted somewhere? I don't really know.
Journey to new heights.
Oh my god.
A unique global destination driven by cutting-edge technology in Neom. This is Trojena. Breathtaking architecture and innovative engineering fold seamlessly into the natural landscape. Ascend to a vertical village, a portal connecting the digital and the physical. The seasonal climate provides a multitude of high-altitude adventures in the Arabian Peninsula with the region's first outdoor ski experience. Enjoy the buzz of world-class entertainment, the crisp mountain air, and the world's most advanced health and well-being center nourish both body and soul. And as night falls, you can witness the stars as you've never seen them before. Welcome to Trojena.
Dude, I don't know why they're paying Neom here to make fake 3D renders. Why don't they just, like, take a video in Warframe or Destiny 2 and just upload that? What's the main city's name in Warframe City? Are there any city? Corpius Gas City? Or, like, one of the name of their big areas. Hold on. Fortuna. Yeah, hold on. Fortuna. Warframe. Oh, wait, no. Fortuna is the fucking debt colony. What's the name of the other one? Yes, I've seen We All Live Together. It's a banger. And we can play it because it's an in-game cutscene. You guys ready to feel the proletarian... Oh, the lore is that this is an internment camp for cyborgs that have run-up debt in a hyper-capitalist dystopian space civilization. And then at the end, it was all done in-game. It wasn't even a cutscene, because you seamlessly transition into controlling your Warframe.
Conscience clear and unburdened.
That's my favorite shit. That it wasn't even a cutscene, you just, now you enter. Yeah, it's super cool. Oh no, yeah, no, definitely comparable vibes. Gale, for sure. Yeah, I even know the song you're referring to. It's a pretty common cyberpunk trope. Or, sorry, sci-fi trope, the whole, like, hyper-capitalist debt internment dealio, but, yeah, it's pretty good. Are you talking about these levels? I don't even remember what I was talking about at this point. Yeah, just watching a Warframe playthrough and come to Saudi Arabia. Innovative interior lighting. Tree decorations. Whatever. Real. The rhythmic singing and striking is more like a slave spiritual, though, right? Well, I mean, yeah, they're literally debt slaves. It's a slave song, right? Like that's the point of the singing. It's, you know, you sing to pass the work along. But they're cyborgs, so they get to do this for hundreds of years. So that's cool. Yeah, they're in debt to the corpus. It's a good song. Gotcha, Ramen, yeah. I'll talk about it over email. You should do a gaming stream with guests, play Fall Guys or something? Absolutely not. Have I seen Warframe Sleeping in the Cold Below song? No, I don't know this song. When did this come out? When is the video from? 2021. Okay, yeah. I haven't played Warframe since, like, 2019. Is this also a proletarian song? Nah, not really. Just a bop. Okay, I only care about proletarian songs. Sorry. Man, this fucking Neom channel, dude. Holy shit. YouTube? 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 No, I think it might actually be my connection. Because chat's stuttering a little bit too.
You see desert. We We see opportunity. You see the sun. We see inexhaustible.
Okay, this seems like a general thing rather than like a specific location. This last one was pretty wild though. Oh wait, is YouTube gonna cuck out of me? Maybe that's a sign to end stream. I did say I was going
Journey to new.
This one's wild though. It literally just looks like some fucking World of Warcraft area or whatever. Why Saudi Arabia is building a linear city? Oh Christ. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah. Stream has been goobin'. I just saw somebody in YouTube chat say, can anyone ask Vosh when he'll cover the Trump passports? And that person is about to learn a very harsh lesson of watching Vosh streams.
In January of this year, the Saudi Arabian Crown Prince announced an immense new development project that is supposed to set a blueprint for the future of his country and the world.
اليوم بصفتي رئيس مجلس إدارة نيوم
Shut up.
نقدم لكم the line.
He announced that the kingdom will build a city that stretches along a single 100-mile-long line.
Wait, I wasn't listening for a second. Is he also the fucking chairman of this corporation? So this is literally just the Saudi government giving money to the company to build a fake project? This is like... Okay. This is like the most dictator thing that you can do. Like, yeah, I, the Crown Prince, am going to give my company that I own $100 billion to build something that can't be built. Okay.
The linear city is part of a larger development project planned by the Saudi Arabian government. The economy of Saudi Arabia is heavily dependent on the oil industry, which historically has
That might be an
ensured growth
understatement.
and led to the country now being the 18th largest economy in the world by gross domestic product. Saudi Arabia has the second largest oil reserves on the planet. While the oil industry is the strength of the country, it has also been recognized that there is a risk in this dependency. Therefore,
yeah.
the government is trying to diversify the economy. As part of the Saudi Vision 2030 initiative, the country is investing primarily in large infrastructure projects, education, scientific research, the healthcare system, and the tourism sector. The goal is to pave the way for new industries, in which the focus is primarily on future technologies such as...
This is propaganda. Already, I'm pretty sure this video is propaganda, or at least it's serving the purpose of propaganda. When dictatorships say, hey, we're going to make good use of our oil wealth, we're going to build big things. We saw this with the Soviets too. We've seen this everywhere. It's not for the country. They build giant projects as part of their legacy ensuring dick-waving projects. That's it. That's what they do. It's not about the betterment of the country.
renewable power. And this is a development that can be seen across the Arabian Peninsula, with nations starting ambitious future programs. Even if these initiatives differ from one another in terms of scope and objectives, what they have in common is that they include structural investments that are designed to expand the regional economy to new areas. The Vision 2030 initiative of Saudi Arabia was announced in April 2016. The project is pushed forward by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the son of the Saudi ruler, King Salman. Despite officially being Crown Prince and Minister of Defense, bin Salman is already regarded as the de facto leader of the country. The Line City is part of perhaps the biggest project of this bigger campaign initiated by bin Salman, Neom. Neom is being built in the Tabuk province of Saudi Arabia. Here, the government has set up a zone for the new city. The area is located...
Holy shit, it's literally a company town. It's not even just this company is being contracted to construct the city. The whole district has been... Okay.
And the Gulf of Aqaba and the Red Sea, with the Straits of Tiran connecting both. On the opposite side of the strait lies Sharm el-Sheikh. This Egyptian city is economically completely geared towards tourism and is one of the most popular and expensive seaside resorts in Egypt. This success should now be duplicated on the other side in Neom. The two islands, Tiran and Sanafir, were historically disputed between Egypt and Saudi Arabia. While Egypt has controlled them in the past, the Egyptian parliament approved the transfer of these islands to Saudi Arabia in 2017.
Wow, that's rare. A government allowing land to be ceded? I wonder what concessions they got.
This agreement paves the way for a causeway that would connect the two countries. As part of the Neom project, a bridge is planned across the Tiran Strait. This would create a land connection from North Africa to the Arabian Peninsula, bypassing Israel. Construction on some of the first projects have already started since Neom was announced. In the first phase, Neom Bay is being developed, which would lay the foundation for further development. Some hotel complexes, as well as luxurious apartments, were created. And in 2019, the newly built Neom Bay Airport was inaugurated, which enables a direct connection from the capital of Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. But the largest project...
But for what? Government officials? This is a one-runway airport. This can't be like a commercial tourist airport.
in Neom at the moment is not intended for the general public. It is
yeah.
a huge park complex consisting of several palaces for the Saudi king, the crown prince, his brother, as well as several villas for other members of the royal family.
Wow, great. Great, phenomenal. Several palaces.
With the announcement of the line earlier this year, for the first time plans have been presented for how the actual city in Neom will look like. This city concept should bring a number of advantages, which Bin Salman hopes will make it the city of the future.
Oh, fuck.
The city will be structured on 3 different levels. On ground level, there will be a complete pedestrian zone without any roads and cars. Green parks should encourage walking and leisure activities. The second level should work as a service level, hosting shops and other commercial space. The third and lowest level will be the spine of the city. This is where goods and people will transport across the city. An ultra-high-speed transit system is planned, which should allow people to travel to any point along the line within just 20 minutes.
I'm sure.
This spine connects different city...
Wait, where's the residential? Wait, all they talked about was like a park and then commercial and entertainment areas and then the metro. Where's the... Is this not a city? Are people not meant to live here? Everyone's just homeless. They all just sleep in their fucking shops.
Modules with each other, so that all errands and activities can be done by public transport and walking.
على مدى العصور والحضارات كانت تبنى المدن لحماية الإنسان بمساحات ضيقة، وبعد الثورة الصناعية بنيت المدن لتضع الآلة والسيارة والمصنع قبل الإنسان.
The entire layout is designed around the premise that many big cities of today are a result of the Industrial Revolution, and as such were built more for machines, cars, and industry rather than for people that live in it. But whether a rigid line will result in a city that tailors more towards people's needs will remain to be seen. The line aims to reduce the need for personal cars and organize all of its services in a sustainable manner, as the city will be powered entirely by clean energy. In addition, artificial intelligence is to be used...
Why does any of this require a oh, tell me what the AI is going to do. Okay. Why does any of this require a line? I'm not understanding the line part. Building a half-kilometer tall line exponentially increases the cost of everything that's being done here. Everything. Guys, do you know how expensive skyscrapers are? Guys, I want you to think right now about the energy that would be necessary to pump water up half a kilometer across that stretch. Skyscrapers are so inefficient. Like, okay, skyscrapers are incredibly cost inefficient. in terms of how much machinery and how many resources it takes to build them relative to the space that they offer people, the only reason skyscrapers are used in cities is because there's so little space there. But they are building in the middle of the Saudi desert, where you have all the space in the world. The reason skyscrapers are only built in areas with very, 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 very high land prices is because it's only in an environment where horizontal ground space is at a premium that the cost of building a skyscraper is warranted. That's not the case here. What are some alternatives to this shit? A regular city!
To simplify the lives of residents and use resources more effectively. The Saudi Arabian government has announced that it will invest $500 billion in the Heem project. When considering this project,
Wait, what was the AI thing?
used to simplify the lives of residents, artificial intelligence is to be used to simplify the lives of residents and use resources more effectively.
Oh, yeah. Whoa, thank you. We will use AI to make things better and also to be efficient. Okay, thanks. Wow. Thank you.
The Saudi Arabian government has announced that it will invest $500 billion in the Heem project.
Into a crown prince's company, yes.
When considering this project, a number of questions arise, and much remains unclear. While the city's focus on green technologies is aimed to ensure a sustainable relationship with the planet, the city's layout design quite literally cuts through its surroundings, forcing its way through tough terrain, rather than embracing natural features such as the coastline, which seems to remain rather inaccessible. While the linear form is fascinating and would be a spectacular thing to see from space, how this layout itself contributes to sustainability and shorter transit times despite longer distances has not been explained yet.
Oh, thank you.
And even if the radical nature of this draft is fascinating as a design study, in practice the question still arises as to whether this layout will allow any natural radiating city growth. But perhaps this concept should achieve a different goal, which is to generate attention. The kingdom is promoting this project worldwide with internet ads, cable TV commercials, and a series of online explanatory videos. The government is trying to find investors, and the linear concept attracts attention.
Good luck. This is like all the .com bubble energy in the world, but more expensive than any of them ever were. I don't think any .com bubble ever hit $500 billion in estimated investment.
At this point it should be noted that a linear city isn't an entirely new idea. For example, the Spanish city planner Arturo Soria Mata developed plans for linear cities in the 1880s. He envisioned that due to the narrow shape of a linear city along fewer transport routes, every citizen would have close access to the nature and farmland around.
I think that was a different time. The closest example we have to like proper linear cities would probably be like the stuff that was built around train tracks, right? Because railroad companies would own the land adjacent to any train tracks that they were able to lay in America. So they would they would build like down the line. The issue isn't so much the line or the mostly linear design. The issue is elevating the whole thing. Like, can you guys have any idea how many hundreds of billions extra the construction and maintenance of just like the wall itself will be? Like, leaving aside everything else, like you could take all that away and just set everything on the ground. It would be hundreds of billions cheaper, you know?
He strove to create a city that embraced its rural areas, which he believed would create an improved balance of rural and urban life. And after the founding of the Soviet Union, the Russian town planner Nikolai Alexandrovich Miljutin took up this idea as well and partially implemented it in the cities of Volgograd.
Notably still on the ground.
Another concept, at least partially similar to the linear city, was implemented in Brazil at the end of the 1950s when the country created a new capital from scratch, Brasilia. The planned city was supposed to embody modern Brazil, and the planners went for a design that provides for a central axis along which most of the city runs.
But this isn't like comparable though. This is still an outward spreading city. Brasilia's a dumpster fire? Ah, well.
While the planners had the goal of creating a city that ensures equality and modernity through its layout, high prices along the axis resulted in the formation of a large number of satellite cities, whereas the planned city itself hardly allowed for natural growth. The city planning of Brasilia is controversial to this day, and is often criticized for being designed from space instead of street level.
Oh, yep, this is what happens, man. Guys, was Brasilia built by a democratically elected leader or by a dictator? Because this screams dictator design. The latter? It was by a dictator? Military? Oh, wait, it was democratic? Why are you people giving me different answers? Dictator? Okay.
Neom, on the other hand, differs from Brasilia in a few ways, including the fact that Brasilia has relied heavily on car traffic, while Neom wants to make cars unnecessary. Nevertheless, the concern about designing a city from bird's eye view remains, as it will be interesting to see whether the implemented visions of rulers and architects will align with the needs of people that will actually live in the line. Especially since people are currently being forcibly displaced in order to create space for Neom. The Al-Huratai tribe who live in this area is calling for an investigation by the United Nations because they're being forced to give up their homes for this prestige project.
Alleged harassment, arrests, and abductions. Jesus.
Being forced to give up their homes for this prestige project. The government wants to set up Neom as a free trade zone with its own tax system and its own legal system. This is intended to create an environment for global investors in which they can enjoy a certain degree of security and are not deterred by Saudi Arabia's ultra-conservative Sharia-based legal system. Here, an approach similar to the United...
Am I still streaming, by the way? All of my shit is fucking up on my end. Like, everything on my end is fucking up right now. Yes, I am? Okay, the only reason I can see you saying that is because of the OBS window.
Arab Emirates might be considered. In 2006,
Gotcha.
the UAE created separate English-language common law courts in order to be able to guarantee international standards within the Dubai International Financial Center, a special economic zone. These courts can now also hear cases outside of the economic zone, and they provide independent jurisdiction governing civil and commercial disputes, while other laws of the United Arab Emirates, such as criminal law, are unaffected. In the case of Neom, however, it is not yet known exactly how the legal system will be structured. The promise of progressive laws, as well as the widely advertised visions, are intended to attract the interest of international investors. What cannot be overlooked, however, is the contradiction of these promises and the conduct of the Saudi Arabian government.
Really?
Mohammed bin Salman is promoting cautious liberalization in some areas of society in Saudi Arabia, but at the same time, he has been responsible for numerous human rights violations, including a massive wave of arrests of political activists in the country. The Crown Prince has also been linked to the murder of the Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi in the Saudi Arabian consulate in Istanbul.
Neom project, this futuristic city that he is planning to invest $500 billion in it. What if it goes wrong? It could bankrupt the country.
But no one's allowed to criticize it.
But no one allowed to write an objective piece in any newspaper saying your own pieces.
This is the last moment Jamal Khashoggi was seen alive. It's October the 2nd, 2018. The journalist who wrote for the Washington Post newspaper had gone to the Saudi consulate in Istanbul to get documents he needed for his wedding. Turkish prosecutors say he was murdered, his body dismembered, and the remains never found.
A year after the murder of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi, Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman continues to deny ordering the hit.
The Neom project and the line function as a campaign to restore the image of the Saudi government abroad. It signals that Saudi Arabia...
Okay, this video ended up being pretty based, I think, because it, like, showed the city, and most of this video, it's not really defending... Okay, I apologize for calling this video propaganda. I'm sorry. The earlier parts where it presented the claims Saudi Arabia was making uncritically were a setup for the rest of the video deconstructing and criticizing the premise. I apologize. That was too hasty of me.
Arabia wants to become more open for international business, though at the same time that it has become intolerant for any dissent against the plans of the Saudi Crown Prince.
Nice. All right. And with absolutely nothing left on the agenda, I have to end stream. Let me read these last donos. Chat movement. I'll refresh my router. Stay strong, guys.